Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, and I am the author of the story you're about to listen to. So, I have something I want to talk to you guys about, and I really hate to blue balls you guys about it, but the idea just came to me earlier, and I don't have it fully fleshed out. I'll probably make a video about it sometime next week, so look out for that. For now, let's talk about the story of this week. This week's story is called Something Borrowed, and it's literally the first story in this series. I wrote this one in 2017 or early 2018. It's cute. It's a little shorter than the others, but it still has all of our favorite things. It's got a marriage of convenience. I'm pretty sure this one is interracial and intercultural. It also should have a little bit of opposites attract, but don't hold me on that one. I'm not 100% sure on that. This was also written this was also written back when I didn't do chapters, so it has those big sections of story, and I'm really sorry about that, but this is the last one. And last thing before I let you guys get into the story, I know I've been super behind with responding to comments, but I want you guys to know that I read and appreciate every single one. I am so grateful and honored that you guys tune in weekly to listen to my books, and I really appreciate your comments, likes, and shares so much. I'm trying to do a couple a day until I get fully caught up, but just know that even if I haven't responded yet, I have definitely read your comment. So with that being said, and yeah, let's get into the story.
Something Borrowed. $1 Million Agreement. Fake It Till You Make It Book 1 by L. Lauren. Copyright 2018 L. Lauren. Part 1. Aiden flipped a page in the mail magazine he was reading as his best friend Rose stormed through the door. Blue eyes looked up from the top of the magazine as she kicked off her 6-inch heels and shimmied out of a hip-hugging dress. She raked the hair tie out of her hair and fluffed it. "Hey sexy." Aiden turned to the next page, eyes browsing over hard photo-edited abs and tanned skin. "How was work?" You know how it is, honey. If I never saw another horny, ugly man, it would be too soon. But I made a lot, and no eels visited my cave tonight. The perks of having tits, I guess. You can strip and make as much as a doctor." Aiden crossed his legs and leaned back into their second-hand couch. "You'd make more if you were girly. You know straight guys love a queenie gay stripper. It's the in-between from a real gay man and a woman." "See, did you hear what you just said? Queenie gay guys aren't real gay men now. This is why I won't, and I already have more than enough clients who are in the closet with naive wives." Rose padded barefoot into their shared bathroom, rubbing off thick makeup and changing into comfortable clothes. "Sure. I heard something on the wind, though. There's this billionaire who needs someone to marry so he can receive his inheritance. Billionaires will do anything to avoid working, I guess. What's he been doing all his life, screwing girls and taking Xanax? Who knows, but I'm not done. Want to hear the big kicker? Not particularly. He's gay and he's looking for the perfect man to fake marry. He's willing to pay, some negotiable." Aiden paused, flicking his eyes up at the girl who was now slipping on a pair of short shorts. She snatched one of his t-shirts from the laundry, draping it over her small shoulders and flipping her hair out of the neck hole. "Since I have your attention." Her thin lips spread into a smile. "Do I need to repeat myself? He's gay? A gay billionaire wants to get married so he can get his inheritance, and he's willing to pay the fiancé. It's what Saraline said in the back room. She was pouty she couldn't audition. You know, because she has a vagina. Oh, according to Saraline, he's so cute, and he sometimes drops by the club with his rich billionaire friends. He doesn't pay for dances? Not for himself, we don't have any sexy male dancers." Rose lifted her eyebrows and cut her eyes to Aiden. Bare feet carried her across the cold concrete floor to the kitchen, taking cold pizza from the refrigerator. "He buys dances for his friends?" "Sometimes." At first I didn't know who she was talking about, but I think she's talking about Jasper Van Schermerhorne. He has a stupid last name. Aiden moved into the kitchen after Rose, pulling out the pizza box and setting it on the counter. He turned on the stove while eating one cold slice. Sure he does, but he's a sexy Persian hottie, so who cares about his last name? Van Schermerhorne is a German last name. Okay, then I guess he's half Persian. Let me be clearer. He's got dark hair, steamy brown eyes, and a perfect little smile. Ah. He's the definition of tall, dark, and handsome. It's really too bad he's gay. Stop, there's a hot gay billionaire out there looking for a man to pretend to be his fiancé? Yes. I keep saying the same thing and you keep questioning me. Yes, because it sounds ridiculous. There's no way. There's no Jasper Van Schermerhorne. Schermerhorne. Schmitterhosen. Aiden batted long eyelashes. If he exists, prove it. He slipped 3 slices of pizza into the oven, 2 for himself and 1 for Rose, and folded his arms, regarding her with a bored expression. Fine. Rose pulled her smartphone from her pocket. I wonder how public his request is. She tapped her fake nails against the smooth smartphone screen before turning it to show Aiden a picture of Jasper. Oh. Damn. Aiden's plump lips parted. He's cute. He could get a real fiancé for the effort of trying to get a fake one. Maybe he's not the marrying sort. Maybe he's a huge playboy. Aiden purred and passed the phone back. Nope. No way. I'm not pretending to be a fiancé, so he can double or triple his wealth just by turning older. How selfish can a person be? Is it selfish, though? You don't know what he wants to do with the money. He could want to start his own business, invest, or whatever rich people do. Or the mortgage on his 10-bedroom apartment is coming due, and he's low on free money earned by breathing. He's offering a minimum of $500,000 to the right person. Probably only pennies of his total fortune. He nibbled the bread crust. What all does it say, the ad? Rose squinted at the phone. It says he's looking for a sexy man to pretend to be his fiancé at an engagement dinner scheduled in a week and a wedding scheduled for 2 months away. It doesn't say twink or muscle gay. No, it doesn't. It just says someone who can hold a decent conversation and isn't completely vapid. The auditions are being held for 2 more days, and once the auditions are concluded, he will make his final decision. Interesting. Where are the auditions? Aiden pulled the pizza from the oven, dropping it on the stove to share. Rose peeked at the ad again, calling out the address. Are you going to go? I'll consider it, if only to see this sexy Persian's face. Oh, there's one more thing. Rose squinted at her cell phone screen between bites of greasy pizza, elbows resting on the laminated white countertop. What? He expects an interactive honeymoon. Wait, I'm sorry? There's a fake wedding, but he wants a real honeymoon? Pig. It could be fun, though. Or you could ask for a couple $1,000s extra. True. I wonder how many people have auditioned. I wonder what you even ask someone who's auditioning to be your fake husband. You should go. For me? Yeah, sure. I'm going to go around the corner for some beer. Need anything? Tampons, thanks, babe. Yeah. You need to get a boyfriend. Aiden rolled his eyes, throwing a shirt over his broad shoulders and a pair of joggers on his bottom half, pulling the drawstring tight around his slender waist. He slipped his feet into sneakers as he grabbed his wallet and keys. Be back in a minute, he called and left. He jogged down the 4 flights of stairs to the lobby. The boy behind the counter hushed when Aiden moved through the room, tracking his casual movements. Aiden? The boy chirped, pressing his palms into the counter and leaning forward to project his voice. You have a few packages left for you. Send them up to my room. Thanks, Chase. A boyish smile touched Aiden's face, eyes sparkling with effortless charm. Oh, okay. Chase's cheeks burned under Aiden's gaze, hands trembling on the counter. I'll do that for you, yeah. He ducked his head and looked around, eyes dancing around the room. See you later, Chase. With a half wave, Aiden continued on his way, strolling down the sidewalk once outside, reveling in the crisp spring air. Aiden's long hair rippled in the wind, the blonde tips tickling his shoulders and inspiring goosebumps over his skin. The corner store was only a few blocks from Aiden's leased penthouse apartment and was on a corner. The one worker behind the counter nodded and gave a quiet hello to Aiden before going back to his shift assignments. As Aiden browsed, the man went from cleaning behind bulletproof glass to sweeping the interior of the shop, keeping a casual eye on Aiden. "Can I help you find anything?" "Dude, come on, I'm here every other day. I'm just looking. Y'all need better candy." He selected a bar of chocolate and grabbed a case of beer from the back room. "What kind of candy?" "Sour gummies and apple-flavored stuff." Aiden dropped the case on the counter, chocolate on top. He exchanged $10 for the beer and chocolate and pocketed his change. "Thanks, man. I'll see you in a few days, so you can follow me around some more." "No problem." The older gentleman exhaled in a tense laugh as Aiden left, hoisting the beer under one strong arm and tearing into the chocolate with his teeth. He bit into it and collided into a solid force. His beer fell to the ground, shattering and spilling sizzling liquid along the sidewalk. The back of his head smacked against the pavement, sending his brain sloshing forward and reeling him into a pounding headache. "The fuck?" Aiden groaned, rubbing his forehead and raking his fingers through his hair, checking to see if the axe pounding into his head was real or imaginary. It was imaginary, but the dark chuckle and nudge of boots to his side wasn't. Aiden rolled from his back to his belly, planting his hand on the wet concrete and curling into himself as he tried to get back to his feet. The worn boots kicked him back down. Aiden lost his breath, heart stopping momentarily, and coughed. Aiden Blake Edwards. No one called Aiden by his full name, not even his plump, well-meaning mother, or his sad drunk of a father. "Screw you," Aiden grunted, shutting his eyes tight as he waited for the next blow. When it didn't come, he opened them again. Steel-toed boots greeted his blue eyes and he sighed, eyes rolling up and then around. "Cute. You don't remember me?" The man crouched down, touching Aiden's face. "You get prettier with age, you know, and I've been looking for you." "You found me." Aiden's lip curled and he moved his head away. "And no, I don't remember you." "Yeah, I guess you wouldn't. Let me see if I can refresh your memory. About 5 years ago, a desperate boy came to me begging. He said he'd do anything for a place to stay and a bit to eat, anything. And he said it again and again. He told me his name was Adam, but I just remember his blue eyes. Pale blue like the sky." Aiden grunted, "Sure. Me and my boys gave him a place. He ate our food, slept in our bed, fucked some of us even. Smoked our blow, shared it with his friends. He grew up a bit, filled out some, and then he vanished. Didn't pay us back, didn't even say goodbye." "Yeah, Charlie," Aiden whimpered. "How much?" "How much do you owe me?" "Well, raising kids ain't cheap, so let's see. I'm feeling generous. 600,000 and I'll go away forever. Or you can work it off, baby. I heard you're best with a cock in your mouth. Everyone's hearing things, seems like." Charlie chuckled, twisting fine locks of Aiden's hair. "How long would it take you to make it back?" "A few weeks if you worked every night." "I don't work every night." "So you don't. I forgot, you like a nice hard fuck, so you need a little time to heal, don't you?" Yeah, sure. Look. I can get you 600,000. I'm good for it, just give me a week." 5 days. 5 days isn't a week." "You're right. I've given you 5 damn years, and I don't see why I owe you even one extra day." Charlie gripped Aiden's jaw, rough at first, then his grip relaxed. The backs of his fingers stroked Aiden's stubbly chin. "Fine. 5 days. We done here?" "Not quite." Charlie sneered before Aiden received a sharp blow to his ribs. Aiden grunted, gritting his teeth as the kicks continued. The steel toe of Charlie's boot slammed into his hard abs, his lean sides, and once to the dead center of his chest, stopping his heart again. "Please. I can't work," he sobbed, tearing as his body bloomed with bruises. "Oh right, I forgot. Hard to get clients when you're bruised, huh? I left your pretty face, so you can still give all the $5 blowjobs if you want. With another kick, Charlie retreated, his footfalls crunching on the gravel, getting fainter until they were gone. Aiden closed his eyes, wincing, and struggled to his feet. Rubbing his sticky hands over his face, he lifted his shirt and surveyed the blossoming bruises on his abs and sides. The bright red of fresh blood spread just below a thin layer of skin, swelling and aching to the touch. After a few soft curses, Aiden straightened up as best he could and limped back to his apartment, going in the back entrance and taking the stairs one at a time. By the time he got up to the place, Rose had showered and crawled into bed to crash. Grateful for her absence, he dumped his keys and wallet on the table and trudged into the kitchen for ice packs. Pressing them into his belly, he went to his room, closing the door behind him. Peeling his shirt over his head, he collapsed on his bed, sprawling out and packing himself with ice for the swelling. He slept like the dead despite the layers of ice and his body's immune system spurring into action. He floated through the next day, waking to piss and taking one step at a time to the bathroom and back to his room, falling into sleep again. He felt better on the second day, bruises purpled but no longer swollen. His head didn't throb from the gentle sunlight. Rose knocked on his door. "Babe, you're not dead in there, are you?" "No, not dead," Aiden called with a low grunt. "I'm off, you're off, and I need clothes. So come be my gay best friend and take me shopping." "Can't. Very busy." Doing what?" "Jacking off. Getting ready to go see Smackelhosen." "Nope, Van Schermerhorne. It's a stupid name, but I'm going to give it a shot. Why the hell not, you know?" Aiden kept the pain from his voice, forcing a playful laugh. "Take Sherry with you shopping. She's almost like a gay best friend." No, she's not. She has no personal style." "Right, yeah, she's more like a straight man best friend, close enough. Give her a makeover. Wax her vagina. You both are due for one." "Right, we'll have a best friend waxing session." "Sounds perfect." Aiden kicked his voice up an octave, sounding like the world's worst crossdresser. "Bye now." His voice went back to normal, and he covered himself in blankets, drowning in sleep again. He woke drenched in sweat and with his bladder burning. He raced into the bathroom to relieve himself, check the time and shake off healing grogginess. He ate a collection of leftovers, 5-day-old pizza, the weird stuff in the takeaway boxes and watery soup Rose cooked. After his belly was full, he wandered back into the bathroom for a steamy shower, and then, wrapping a towel around his torso, he opened his bedroom closet and picked out clothes. He had work clothes and casual clothes. His work clothes were designer, every bit of them, because it was the cost of the job. An escort couldn't wear rags to work, they had to look the price. His casual clothes consisted of joggers, t-shirts, and sneakers. He had an assortment of different baseball caps to disguise his large forehead when he was feeling self-conscious, which was rare. He raked his fingers through his damp hair, dropping the towel and picking an outfit from the work side of his closet. He draped a fitted undershirt over his muscled shoulders, tucking it into creased black slacks. With a black shirt and blazer to match, he finished with a burgundy bow tie and black box-toed loafers. He accessorized with a designer watch and earrings, leaving his long hair around his shoulders, framing the sharp lines of his face. With one quick check in the mirror, he approved of his dress and left, taking a taxi to the downtown restaurant where auditions were held. The restaurant was exquisite, exclusive, and Aiden had been there several times with many clients. In fact, when he strolled in alone, the host blinked before administering a rich greeting with compliments. Aiden asked if a Jasper Van something or other was there, and with a deep bow, the host nodded and led him through the restaurant. They walked past the fresh tanks of seafood, lobsters with banded claws and colorful tropical fish for decoration, past the enclosed main dining area packed full of older couples, and past a hallway of closed doors to the private dining room all the way on the end. The host knocked, bowed once more, and left Aiden to his growing nerves. The door yanked open to an older man wearing a black and white tuxedo. "You are here to see Mr. Van Schermerhorne." "Yeah. I saw his ad. Is he still looking?" "Yes. He is currently in an interview with another man." Before you can meet with him, there are a few questions you must answer. Of course, go on then. Well, what is your name? Aiden Blake Edwards. What is your current profession, and how much do you make after taxes? What? I'm independently employed, and I make around $50,000 a year, after taxes and business expenses. Aiden rolled his eyes, hooking his thumbs into his pockets. Are you currently in a relationship? With myself, yes. I've been dating me for many years, and it's worked out so far. How old are you, sir? 25. Ah. So far, so good. How did you learn of this opening? My friend heard it on the wind. And why do you want this opportunity? Because I need the money, obviously. I see. The man's stern face wrinkled. And you understand the terms and conditions should you be accepted? Terms and conditions. You mean how Mr. Van Schermerhorne wants honeymoon no-strings-attached sex for money, along with the job of being his believably fake fiancé? I understand clearly. If there's nothing else, I'll wait for him to see me. Wrinkling his nose, he motioned to the hallway and grinned at the stoic man. Very well. With a nod, the man closed the door with a click. Aiden heard two voices, but neither were the man he'd just spoken with. The voices belonged to Jasper, the lower baritone voice, and an effeminate gay boy fawning over his every word, the higher alto voice. Aiden leaned close to the thin wall, listening to the boy attempt to charm Jasper and Jasper rebuff his advances. The boy piped up with conversation opener after conversation opener, and Jasper replied with vague, non-committal responses. Aiden grinned as the boy asked Jasper about his personal life, imagining him walking his fingers up Jasper's thighs. Jasper offered a dark chuckle and said he preferred to pitch. The boy giggled and said he was an excellent catcher. The conversation rounded to expectations again, and with a low rumble, Jasper found a reason to dismiss the boy. Jasper was Democratic. The boy said he was Republican like his parents. Instantly, Jasper's easy tone changed, and he walked the boy to the door despite protests. When the door opened, a short, skinny boy stumbled out and turned to Jasper. But, we can talk about politics. You and I, he promised, bright green eyes desperate. His mop of lanky blonde hair flopped around his pink face. We don't need to talk. I'm not looking for a conversationalist. I'm looking for a man to perform a job, Jasper's deep voice rumbled, frustration growing. Aiden paused in the hallway, watching the boy's fussy reactions. The boy's face fell. Call me. When the boy saw Aiden, he collected his pride and straightened his back, glaring at Aiden and storming down the hallway. Perhaps, Jasper muttered, stepping out of the doorway once the boy was far enough down the hall. He glanced one way and then the other, dark brown eyes locking on Aiden. Aiden's eyes trailed up his form, spying his casual sneakers, the expertly tailored jeans and cotton shirt hugging his broad form, and the 5 o'clock shadow on his square face. His arms and chest were dusted with black hair, matching the unruly curls on the top of his head. Jasper's eyes softened, but his lips pursed. Hey. Aiden clenched his sharp jaws, a smirk touching his lips. I'm Aiden. You're Jasper Van something or other. And I'm going to marry you. His blue eyes sparkled, challenging Jasper to deny it. Jasper blinked. Oh. Yep. We both have something we need here, and more importantly, we both know the score. See, I don't want you, and you don't want me. I just need a hefty chunk of change, and you need someone who can pretend to be in love with you. And you think you're the right man for the job? Oh yeah. My job is to pretend, and I like to think I'm pretty damn good at it. So, let's continue this interview inside. Oh, spoiler, you don't get the goods until after you say I do, and I want custom vows. Aiden pressed himself into Jasper to slip into the conference room, turning his head and exposing his tight-corded neck. A wave of cologne teased Jasper's nose, Aiden's pheromones mixed with bergamot and cinnamon, and the front of Jasper's pants tightened. A veteran escort, Aiden noticed, and his grin grew. You are a firecracker, Jasper observed, lips curling. He adjusted his watch and guided Aiden to the table setting for two. The cloth draped over the table was pure white, held down by a candle and other abstract decorations. Shall we sit? Sure we shall. Aiden sat down after Jasper's suggestion. How many people have you interviewed? Too many. Jasper took his seat across from Aiden. I heard you and the last kid. He was desperate. And also Republican. Seriously gross. Before we get further, I don't vote by House, I vote by politics, but I usually vote on the side of Democratic policies. I'm not interested in trapping you in a real marriage. You're cute and all, but no thanks. Good. I'm not interested in settling down either. Jasper's dark eyes flicked to his butler, and the man roused from fading into the background and poured them both a glass of deep red wine. Jasper lifted his glass, scenting it before touching it to his lips for a taste. Now his eyes stayed focused on Aiden. So, let's talk about the details. What kind of boyfriend do your parents expect? Shy quiet type, queenie flashy type? I got to know what I'm pretending to be here. I have never brought a man home, so I don't believe they know what to expect. Well, I can't imagine why a man wouldn't want to come home with you. What kind of men do you like then? I prefer men who can speak for themselves and have a voice. Right. Ultra vague answer. Aiden rose his eyebrows, tasting his wine. Let's try this route. What are your hobbies? I enjoy reading, traveling, and cooking. Oh, a rich man who can cook. Don't you have butlers and maids to cook for you? Butlers don't cook, but I grew up with a maid, yes, and I spent time in the kitchen with her. Mixing spices and flavors is the enjoyable part of cooking. Sure. Getting delivery is the best part of cooking. You know, when a sexy delivery boy delivers takeout to you. But okay, so you'd cook for your boyfriend, checkmark. What else? I enjoy going to the gym, I suppose. Do you go every day? Most days. Good enough, we have the gym in common. Let me see. Aiden motioned to Jasper's torso. See what? The body you made at the gym, clearly. Go on, lift your shirt. He flashed Jasper a quick grin, and with a scowl, Jasper stood to his feet again and lifted the hem of his cotton shirt. Aiden's smile faded and his lips parted. Jasper's tan skin was stretched over hard muscles sloping down to his belly button and fading into his jeans. A dusting of thick hair coated his chest and narrowed to a little sliver to his belly button and on down before it spread again. Good, very good. Jasper shrugged. Your turn. Nope. No, sir. You don't get a peek until the real honeymoon you're requesting. Until then, this package stays wrapped. So it's safe to say we go to the gym together and the weekend warrior thing? Sure. Jasper smirked, features lightening. What? Nothing. What profession are you going to tell my family? I'm going to tell them I work for myself as a writer. Can you write? Jasper's lips pursed, swallowing a smile. Yes, I can write. Who's holding the interview here? What's your fancy rich boy job, huh? Technically, I am holding the interview, but you keep asking the questions. I'm an investor. Right, of course you are. I'm going to tell them I'm a writer, and we met when my publisher introduced us. For investments. Sound plausible? Indeed. I'm going to say we've been dating for a month or so, and it's just been such a whirlwind. Aiden batted his eyelashes. How much family do you have? A father, mother, and older sister who is already married. Do we have pets? No. All right. You're going to send me pictures of your apartment, your morning face, and any other relevant information. When do I meet them? 5 days on Saturday. We have a yacht engagement party to attend where you will meet my family and everyone I've ever met. Right on, Tiger. I will send you clothes. No, you won't. I have suits and they're perfectly tailored. I'll wear one of mine, Aiden corrected, folding his arms across his chest. Then, I will pick you up Saturday morning. If you have no other questions for me? No, I have 2 more actually. Where are we going for our intimate honeymoon? Song saw Private Island. Jasper rose to his feet again, offering a hand to Aiden and helping the other man to his feet. Aiden met his eyes again, standing at almost the same height with almost the same build. Aiden had a mix of clients, some smaller men who wanted a muscular guy over them, some built guys who wanted the same thing, and all varieties in between. Jasper was a different dragon, a sexier dragon, and their terms were different. Standing so close to him, Aiden's eyes fluttered, his heart beat faster. Oh, okay. And this isn't a question, but I require 900,000. How about we make it an even million? Jasper moved in close, not letting Aiden's hand go. Deal. Deal. When do I get the first part? After the engagement party. The rest after the honeymoon. Okay. Aiden nodded, pulling his hand away. I should go now. Indeed. I need your number. Right? Aiden rattled off his number as Jasper tapped it into his phone. Then Aiden's phone pinged. I'll see you in a few days. I'm excited to see more of your closet. With those smooth words, Jasper placed a hand on Aiden's back and led him to the door. So, I got the job? Well, yes. You told me you did, remember? Right. Yeah, I did. Aiden's cheeks burned, and Jasper's hand on his back spread goosebumps through his body, ants crawling over his skin. He stepped over the threshold and looked at Jasper again, losing himself in Jasper's dark eyes. His lips tingled as his eyes trailed down to Jasper's smooth, plump lips. Aiden pressed one hand into the wall, steadying himself as they went through a slow parting review. Jasper's rolling voice confirmed the terms of their agreement. Aiden nodded when Jasper's words trailed off and bid him good night, forcing a playful tone into his voice. Aiden wandered home, hailing another taxi cab to take him back through the bleak, monotone city to his apartment. He leaned against the door of the taxi cab, letting his mind float back to Jasper. The first rule of being an escort was not to fall for clients, and Aiden had smoothly avoided breaking the rule for 3 years. Despite being selective with his client base, selecting attractive and mildly interesting clients for events longer than a few hours, he never had so much as a crush, no heart flutters, no tingling feelings. Except Jasper. Jasper's brooding silence, and the way his eyes landed on Aiden, like Aiden was the only man who had ever existed. Jasper's strange charisma excited Aiden, his quiet confidence roping him in. Once back at his residence, he paid the cab driver in cash and shed his jacket and tie as he ascended the stairs to his apartment, tossing his keys, wallet, and cell phone on the nearest counter. Anybody home? He called. In here. Rose waved one hand out of the bathroom, and Aiden approached, leaning against the doorframe as she pulled her eyelids up and down and applied liner. Yum. Someone's all dressed up. I told you I was meeting with Mr. I Need a Fake Fiancé. How'd it go? She applied false eyelashes. He's giving me $1 million to marry him. And our honeymoon is on some private island. $1 million? She blinked, staring at Aiden through the mirror, and then spinning around to face him. He's giving you double his minimum? I suggested 900,000. Aiden shrugged. He said we should make it an even million. So, he's paying you 100,000 over the price you suggested? Seems like it. He's in love with you. Yeah, no, he's not. He wants to have a good honeymoon, and is happy I wasn't falling all over his dick. Where are you going? He's in love with you, Rose repeated, voice calm as a smile touched her face. And you're getting defensive. Are you breaking rule number 1? I'm not defensive and I'm not breaking any rules. The fuck are you going? Out. I have a last-minute client who needed a date to a benefit. Did you go shopping with Sherry? Yes. Rose rolled her eyes, never again. She's so new money, but like new money. She wanted bling everything. I'm pretty sure she got bedazzled panties. Well, she is a whore. Aiden snorted. So are you. Boo, so are you. He laughed, tousled Rose's hair and then kissed her cheek. I'm going to get some rest. I have a date with my personal trainer in the morning. I have to keep this body looking good. Have a good night. If anything goes wrong, call me. Will do. She kissed him back and he exited the bathroom. Aiden walked into the kitchen, shoving handfuls of dry cereal into his mouth and chasing it with milk until he was full. With a full belly and a lot on his mind, he went to bed. An escort's week was sometimes busy and sometimes lazy. With a $1 million gig, Aiden didn't have much to do. The next day he met with his personal trainer who dragged him through a grueling leg day workout, and then he bought groceries. The other 4 days, he worried about Saturday's event. He checked the tailoring on his suit, purchased new shoes and accessories to avoid worrying about the 2 scuffs on his favorite loafers and the slight chip on his watch, and professionally trimmed and dyed his hair. Saturday morning raced up, and Aiden bolted awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, before the sun peeked over the clouds and washed light over his bed. He stared at the ceiling. Jasper had sent a confirmation text the evening before, strumming his nerves and reminding him to be on his best behavior, or there may be consequences. Aiden promised he'd look forward to any consequences Jasper administered. He was in a frenzy getting dressed. He showered and thoroughly cleaned himself up, despite knowing nothing intimate would happen. He dressed himself once, then shed the entire outfit to test another one, before going back to the original outfit he'd selected. He slipped on his new chocolate brown loafers as someone knocked on his door. "Hang on," he called from the living room, tucking his rich purple shirt into his dark chocolate slacks. He opened the door. "Hey." Jasper's voice and signature smell hit him, sticking his feet to the floor as his brain scrambled to organize this new swell of emotions. Jasper's signature cologne filled his nose, tobacco and sandalwood mixed with the smell of masculinity. "Hi. You're early?" "It's noon." "Right, but the yacht dinner is tonight." "I figured we could have lunch at my favorite restaurant and get to know each other a little more before tonight. There can be no question of our engagement." "Yeah, I know. I can do it, but if you really think we need a pre-engagement date, fine. Come in. I'm almost ready." Aiden opened the door more, stepping aside as Jasper moved into his place. Jasper's onyx eyes peered around the apartment, lingering on the old couch. "Of course." He clasped his hands behind his back. "You can sit if you want." No. I will stand. Thank you for the offer." Jasper flashed a brief smile. Aiden caught it as it faded from his lips, and turned away from Jasper for his own secret smile. He finished tucking his shirt, added a belt and his other accessories, and threw his jacket over his shoulders, tossing his hair from inside the jacket lip. With Jasper idling in his living room, Aiden could only glance into the mirror, combing his hair and fixing his side part, before he approached Jasper. "Okay, ready." "Excellent. You look lovely." "Lovely. Handsome is better, or sexy even." Aiden wrinkled his nose, tucking his wallet, keys, and cell phone away as he approached the door. "Handsome and sexy," Jasper corrected, following him and stepping out of the apartment as Aiden locked up. "I brought the town car. I figured you wouldn't appreciate the flashiness of the typical limousine." "You're correct, sir. Any man who feels the need to drive around town in a limousine is a man who's got an issue with his self-esteem." "Are you saying no to a flashy limousine for tonight?" "Yes, definite no. I'm glad we understand each other." Aiden squeezed Jasper's shoulder, leaning into him as they approached an understated but clean vehicle. Nodding to his driver, he opened the door for Aiden and filed in behind him. "How do you feel about French food?" "Light, flashy, and complicated, but good." "Perfect. We're having French for lunch." Jasper crossed his legs, one ankle over his other knee, and draped an arm across the back of the seat, touching the tailored cut of Aiden's suit. Aiden inched closer, touching their thighs and relaxing. "This looks like we're a couple, right?" "It does. How do you feel?" "Comfortable, actually, like we're in this together." "We are. I'm glad you feel comfortable. The more comfortable you feel, the better this will go for us both." "Agreed," Aiden whispered, leaning his shoulder into Jasper's chest and trying on the relationship suit. It had a perfect fit. Jasper rubbed his shoulder, quiet as they rode. The driver rolled up to the door of La Petite France. Aiden peeked out the window and chuckled. "We're here," Jasper whispered, thumb touching the back of Aiden's neck. His touch sent electricity down Aiden's spine. His skin tingled, muscles twitching. Jasper climbed out of the vehicle and helped Aiden out after him, leading him inside. Jasper requested a private table. The hostess led them to a private nook with tall windows. Speaking with a thick French accent, she detailed the chef's specials of the day, bowed, and left them alone as they settled into the booth. Jasper waited for Aiden to sit before he sat down across from him. Before they had a chance to peek at the menu, the waiter arrived in a crisp uniform and a heavy French accent, suggesting saumon fume as an appetizer and a Frederic Magnin Bourgogne Pinot Noir to match. Blinking, Aiden flipped open the menu, scanning for the prices of the salmon appetizer and the wine, and blinking again, he closed the menu and looked at Jasper, who replied to the waiter in smooth French. "What is salmon fumé?" Aiden asked once they were alone. "A smoked salmon appetizer. You'll see. I ordered it for us to share. Do you know what you're in the mood to eat? I can help you select something from the menu." I want something light. I don't want to be sleepy for the rest of the afternoon. A salad, perhaps. Or a crepe. Yeah, maybe. What are you getting?" "A panini and a salad." "I was going to suggest a salad to you. I know, salad at a restaurant, but no one makes a good salad at home, it's too expensive." "Okay. You know what? Order for me, surprise me. I'm your fiancé, right?" "So you are." Jasper's sweet chuckle caressed Aiden's ears. The waiter returned, and his assistant placed the salmon appetizer between them, while the waiter went through a show of opening the wine. He placed the cork in front of Jasper and poured a shallow mouthful in his wine glass. Jasper brought it to his lips, swirling it around his mouth before nodding. After he approved it, the waiter poured wine for both of them. He glanced between them, approving of Jasper, but taking pride in his own secret displeasure of Aiden, before fixing his eyes on a spot in the middle of the table. He asked if they were ready to place orders, speaking English only for Aiden. Jasper spoke up, ordering the panini de poulet et fromage de brie for himself and the salade de pinards. He held a finger up and looked to Aiden. "Would you like meat on your salad?" Well, yeah. Sure. Chicken, I guess." "Avec poulet." Jasper looked back at the waiter, who nodded and scribbled it down. The exchange continued in French until the waiter collected both menus and walked away. Jasper turned his deep gaze to Aiden. "You speak French?" "Ah, yes. I spent a few years in French primary school before we moved to the States." "What other languages do you speak?" "Persian or Farsi, French, Spanish, and English." "And you?" "Oh." Aiden sipped his wine. "Only English. Unless you count Trailer Park as a separate language, then I speak too." "Trailer Park?" Jasper lifted his eyebrows, taking a small sip of his wine. "Yeah, fuck, I shouldn't have said that." Aiden frowned. "Just English." "No, please. What do you mean by Trailer Park?" "Look. I grew up in one. My daddy's a drunk, and my mom's a pill popper who pretends not to be. And my sister's barefoot and pregnant with one of those yappy small dogs at her feet all the time. When I got 17, I got the fuck out." "Ah. I see." Jasper leaned forward, attention focused on Aiden. "I had a suitcase and a desire to be as far away as possible and be someone different. It's admirable. I can't imagine having to leave home with nothing, no support from my family and nothing to my name." I know I'm dragging the conversation down. Tears sprung to Aiden's eyes as he looked around the lavish restaurant, focusing on the quiet servers folding napkins and polishing silverware, and then the small families with wifeish mothers and stoic fathers guiding miniature versions of themselves to square tables. "No, you're not. These are things I would know and accept about you if we were truly getting married. Ah, this reminds me. You need a ring. We should go to a jeweler before the engagement party. I get to pick out my own ring? Of course. Do I get to keep it after we annul this marriage? Indeed. So really, I'm getting $1 million plus gifts? Aiden preened, tears fading away and a sparkle sneaking into his eyes. Tell me more about your family and your childhood. What do you want to know? Anything you wish to tell. Jasper reached across the table, touching Aiden's rough fingers with his own. He pet the side of his hand and slipped his hand under Aiden's until they were clasped together. Aiden's eyes focused on Jasper's sneaky movement, took a bite of the appetizer, another sip of wine, and contemplated what story to share. My mother always knew I was gay, she said, because when I was a child I managed to always have a boyfriend. Apparently, I would hold hands with all my male friends. They wouldn't necessarily be gay, but they were okay with the idea of playing with trucks and blocks and holding hands. Aiden shrugged. I like trucks and blocks. I see no issue with this. Playing with trucks and blocks and holding hands seems rather perfect. Jasper smiled, taking a bite of the appetizer after Aiden, but not letting his hand go. You know how some girls are girls or guys girls? I'm a guy's guy. Like, I can do the gay thing, but I like going to the gym and being outside and, being myself. I just also happen to like men. Agreed. Jasper nodded with a chuckle. I like it. Gay isn't a personality trait, it's a sexual preference. I would play blocks and trucks with you. Oh, now my activities are a little more daring than miniature toys. I like adventures. Skydiving, cliff jumping, bull riding. Aiden glanced down at the appetizer and back up through dark brown eyelashes at Jasper. Those can be arranged for the honeymoon if you wish. Oh, really? You'll cliff jump with me? Until after the honeymoon, it's you jump, I jump, Jack. You're the best fake boyfriend I've ever had. Aiden's heart ached at his own words. Jasper was the best boyfriend, fake or otherwise, he'd ever had. You're welcome. I want to see you bull ride. It'll be a preview for what's to come. Jasper finished his wine and caught the eye of their waiter. A smile played on his face. You want to? Aiden chuckled, tilting his head and grinning. I know a few places with a mechanical bull. If you want to have a little fun after the engagement party. I'm down. The waiter approached their table, pouring another modest glass of wine for Jasper and promising their food was on the way. He waltzed off after. Aiden pressed his lips together when the waiter was at the table, picking at the appetizer more. So, have you ever been in love? No. As much as Jasper had opened up before, he shut down at Aiden's question, voice and eyes turning to ice as he answered. Okay. I mean to ask, why did you wait this long to get married? Because I've been busy, and I don't want to be with anyone who is only interested in me for my wealth, like the boy you saw the night of the interview. Right, yeah. Aiden stretched a napkin over his lap, frustrated by his misstep and how Jasper shut him out at one sensitive question. It is difficult to date and be rich. You never know if someone is interested in you or your money. I'm sure it is nothing compared to what you've experienced in your line of work, Jasper sighed. I get it. Many of my clients are rich and they're looking for a sure thing, no games and no fuss. I like it too. It's relaxing to know the score from the start. Yes, true. The waiter saved them from continuing the current conversation thread, breezing back to the table with a different assistant behind him. He fussed with plates and silverware, as the assistant placed the panini in front of Jasper and the salad with chicken in front of Aiden. In unison, with Jasper speaking French and Aiden speaking English, they thanked the workers and ate in a comfortable silence broken up by the soft clank of forks to plates. They looked up at each other towards the end of their meal. How was your salad? Jasper spoke first. Good. Very good. Your sandwich? Can I have a bite? Of course. Jasper cut a corner of his leftover sandwich, stabbing it with his fork. He presented the fork to Aiden, who shook his head, eyes dancing. Then he presented the other end, and Aiden leaned forward, taking the bite. He groaned. Oh, so good. Can I have the rest? Ah, Jasper squinted at Aiden. Yes? He surrendered the last third of his sandwich. Aiden devoured it, and as he took the last bite, the waiter returned to ask about dessert while the assistant cleared their plates. When Jasper declined, the waiter placed a black guest check presenter on the corner of the table before vanishing. Jasper glanced at the ticket, then tucked his card and placed the check presenter on the corner of the table. All right. How many rings do you need for a wedding? Engagement ring, wedding ring. They come as sets sometimes, right? Aiden asked. Well, yes, but for women. Women have an engagement ring and wedding ring sets. They don't make them for men, unless you really want a big rock on your finger. I don't really. Damn. Aiden bit the inside of his cheek as he considered it. Well, I guess a small band and something nicer for the wedding, right? This is kind of an endeavor, isn't it? A little. How much are you getting? This inheritance? Over $1 billion. Jasper took a small sip of wine before abandoning the glass. Supposedly, you need to spend 3 months of your income on the engagement ring, so like $1 million? Aiden teased. You can get whichever ring you like the most. The wedding ring will be a surprise. Nice. Oh shit, do you want me to buy a wedding ring for you? Put the ring you want me to have on hold at the jeweler's. I like it. Will do. I'm ready to continue our day when you are. With a nod, Jasper handed the guest book to the waiter and signed his name and a tip when he returned. Aiden craned his neck to see the total to no avail and flashed a charming smile when Jasper eyed him. After, Jasper accompanied him from the restaurant and they rode to the private jeweler's. Rings lined the walls inside the jeweler's nondescript building. Aiden inched inside with a nudge from Jasper. Pick 2 things for yourself. The engagement ring and anything else you want. Jasper murmured to Aiden, tucking his long hair behind an ear as he spoke privately to him. Oh. Okay. Aiden's cheeks colored and he looked down, studying the floor as he tried again to sort his feelings. And I'll pick your wedding ring and you mine. Correct. I will let you browse. After a gentle hand to Aiden's side, Jasper retreated. A shiver worked through his body as Jasper's warmth and energy left him, and he found himself tracking Jasper through the small store. He sucked his bottom lip and approached the wall of rings closest to him. Aiden examined the selection, spying the 4-figure price tags on the smaller pieces and 5-figure tags on larger pieces. He picked a modest band for the engagement ring, snapping the ring case closed and moving on to a band for Jasper. Aiden stole a secret glance to the man browsing the walls across from him, with hands clasped behind his back and curly hair licking at the collar of his blazer. Jasper's casual style needed a casual ring, something to match his drowning sable eyes. After going up and down the aisles more times than he wanted, he selected a black ring base with black diamonds going all the way around the center. The ring was sparkling but understated and easy to overlook, a perfect fit for Jasper's personality. Without looking at the price, Aiden grabbed it and snapped the ring box closed, smiling at his choice. He continued, now shopping for himself. He stood in front of the jeweler's watch collection. With one quick glance back to Jasper, he plucked a watch with a blue and black face and silver-linked band out of the selection, closing the box it came in. The second watch he selected had a black face with blue and rubies around it, and a different style of silver band, one encrusted with smaller diamonds. He took the boxes to the counter, separating the gifts for Jasper from the things for himself. He explained to the jeweler Jasper's instructions, and the jeweler smiled and tucked away the 2 gift items, leaving Aiden's engagement band and flashy red, blue, and black-faced watch on the counter. Aiden drummed his fingers on the counter surface, furrowing his smooth eyebrows as he looked back at Jasper still browsing. Jasper made his way from one wall of rings to the other, already having one thing in his hands. Jasper carried himself to every wall before joining Aiden at the counter. Did you find something you wanted? Jasper placed the closed ring box on the table, pushing it to the jeweler while keeping his attention fixed on Aiden. I did. A watch and my fancy engagement ring. Aiden picked up the smaller box and opened it to show Jasper. Very nice. Have you tried it on? Jasper took the box from Aiden, wiggling the ring out of its cushion and then taking Aiden's hand. He tickled his palm with his fingers as he brought his hand high enough to slip the ring on. Oh, you're not going to get on one knee. I could if you wanted, but I am wearing a rather expensive suit. Jasper pushed the ring onto Aiden's finger, slipping it over his knuckle and twisting it. Well, it's a fake engagement anyway, so I won't make you do it, but rest assured I'm expecting all the stops for the wedding day. Excuse me, Mr. Van Schermerhorne, do you mind if I check the fit? The jeweler outstretched his hands to Aiden. I think it's a little big, Aiden murmured and transferred his hand from Jasper to the jeweler, as his cheeks burned under Jasper's intense gaze. The jeweler twisted the ring the same way Jasper had and nodded. Correct. If you need this ring tonight, you can use a ring guard until I can resize it for you. Perfect. Jasper nodded to the jeweler, who promptly pulled out clear rubber and wrapped it around the thin band before returning the ring to Aiden. Put everything on my tab. We will take the engagement ring and his gift with us. I will have someone return later for the wedding rings. Please be sure to label them accordingly. Of course, Mr. Van Schermerhorne. The jeweler labeled the ring boxes and the extra box away from the two men. If you're ready, we have a few hours before the engagement party. What we do is up to you. Aiden slipped the ring back on his finger. We could ride around and talk. Sure. With another nod to the jeweler, Jasper and Aiden left with the engagement ring box and the watch box in tow. Back in the car, they drove around the city with Aiden nestled into Jasper's side and Jasper's strong arm around his shoulders. The conversation picked up from the restaurant, a little obligatory talk of their families which bridged into pesky habits people had and circled around to movies and music. Jasper admitted to mostly listening to classical, which caused Aiden's eyes to bulge out of his skull and begin a crash course on contemporary music. The course's introduction was on the history of American music, slave spirituals which became blues and influenced the emergence of rock and roll. Aiden commandeered the radio, selecting a blues station to further explain the concept behind the music. They drove for hours listening to music, laughing, and narrowly avoiding intimacy. Jasper leaned in for a kiss, Aiden ducked away. Aiden touched Jasper's chest, sliding his hand from firm pectorals down to hard abs. Jasper rumbled and adjusted himself, looking out the window to catch his breath. They were saved by time not being on their side. The driver delivered them to the engagement party promptly at 4 o'clock in the evening, depositing them at the docks by the white, 3-level yacht floating over sparkling water. Aiden blinked when he saw it, anxiety exploding inside him. You'll do fine, Jasper encouraged. Be yourself and they will love you. I do after all, right? I am a land animal, Aiden muttered even as Jasper threaded their fingers together and walked alongside him up to the yacht and aboard. The wooden deck of the yacht was lined with white leather seating, round ottomans, and well-dressed frowning people holding slender drink glasses. Jasper administered silent greetings to many of the people, pulling Aiden closer to confirm their couple status. You won't even notice being on the water. Don't worry, my love. If you say so, Daddy, Aiden quipped back, features souring at the pet name because he liked it. Jasper weaved through the crowd of people on the first floor, taking Aiden to the second floor, which was inside and much quieter. The second level housed a couch curved around a modern wooden table littered with small bits to eat and flutes of champagne. 2 older people sat on the couch, a woman with her exposed legs crossed at the knee, and a man relaxed back on the couch with his arm around the woman's shoulders. The man had Jasper's eyes and easy confidence. The woman had Jasper's full lips, tanned skin, and thick hair. Jasper greeted his parents in his native tongue, and his parents stood, father pulling Jasper into a hug. Ah, my son. And this must be the fiancé, yes? The older man scrutinized Aiden. Yep. I'm the fiancé, Mr. Van Schermerhorne. Call me John. We'll be family soon enough. I apologize, but my son has kept you as a surprise, so I have heard nothing about you. He could have at least told me you were handsome." "Oh, thanks." Aiden's cheeks bloomed and a smile stretched across his face. "I'm Aiden Blake Edwards." You can call me Aiden since we'll be family soon." Aiden twisted the engagement band on his finger, then brushed a few stray locks of blonde hair from in his face, tucking it behind his ear. "So, Aiden, how long have you two been together?" John motioned for them all to sit around the table, and he and his wife scooted down on the couch, taking one corner while Aiden and Jasper took the other. Jasper squeezed Aiden's shoulder, kissing his forehead and burying his nose in Aiden's hair. 3 months? I know, it's a short period of time, but it was kind of love at first sight. I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him the minute our eyes met. Esther and I felt the same way." John touched her thigh, beaming down at her. "We did." Her accent was thick, a strange way of collecting syllables from learning a second language so late in life. "How did you and my son meet?" "Well, funny story really. We met when he was on another date. He wasn't much feeling it, so he left the table and came to get a drink at the bar. He sat down next to me and, well, let's just say 3 hours later we found out we have tons of things in common." Aiden smiled at Jasper, rubbing a hand down his thigh. "Yeah," Jasper agreed, knitting his eyebrows as Aiden crafted their love story. "You managed to get Jasper to talk? You're a miracle worker." John laughed, the sound rolling from his throat. "I know. I talked to myself for the first half of the conversation until I finally wore him down, and he opened up a little, then a little more, and then really let me in. It was nice to meet someone without a bunch of baggage, who just wanted to meet someone, you know?" "Indeed. So tell me, what do you do for work?" "I'm a writer, actually." "Oh. You work for passion, not for money, eh?" "Well." Aiden's lips tightened, keeping his smile plastered to his face. "I think money and passion can be combined. However, sometimes passion leads you to money. Money rarely leads you to passion." "Those are insightful words. You're a famous writer." "I'm a ghostwriter, meaning you may read my work somewhere, but I'm under contract not to disclose it. I get paid up front, and the purchaser deals with advertising and marketing and being the face of a book. It's nice to do it, get paid, and move on." "I can understand. It's a risk-free way to do what you love. Would you ever consider launching on your own?" "I could, but being an author is an exhausting, unrewarding job. It's less raw writing and more politics and marketing." "Did you write as a child?" "I did. It kept me out of trouble as a high schooler, kept me on the straight and narrow, unlike this one here. A real troublemaker, I heard." Aiden winked at Jasper, who grunted, stroking Aiden's cheek. Sure. Chess All-Star was always in trouble. Sneaking out late at night, bringing people back to his room." John laughed along with his wife. "Has he told you of his chess trophies lining our game room?" "No." "Cute. I don't have any trophies, after all. I like knowing my man is a champion." "Chess is easy," Jasper rumbled. "Excuse me, you all. I'll be right back." He pressed a kiss into Aiden's temple, stood and left the room. Aiden's eyes followed him until he disappeared. Then he looked back at his parents, who no longer looked so friendly. "Let's talk openly, shall we? What are your intentions with my son?" "My intentions with? To marry him. To have a life with him, explore the world, be happy. I want to make him smile. Those are my intentions. Would you be interested in signing prenuptial agreements?" Jasper's mother piped up, her voice firm despite her accent. "Prenuptial agreements are something Jasper and I will discuss privately, but I am not marrying him because of money. I have my own. I live a modest lifestyle. I love him, not for what he can give me." Aiden's eyes burned with honesty, losing the lies somewhere and the shy truths slipping from his lips. At his reply, Esther nodded and looked at her husband. "Tell us about your family." "I have a mother, father, and sister, and I don't talk to any of them. My best friend is my emergency contact, and I prefer it this way. Traditionally, the bride's family pays for the wedding, you know." I have always wondered who pays when the couple is same-sex, John mused. We're paying for it together. I want a lavish wedding and Jasper wants me happy. It's short notice, but it's not about the venue and the 20 white horses. It's about our union. My family will not be attending, if you're wondering. So unconventional. Esther puckered her lips. I suppose if this is what Jasper wants. Heaving a sigh, she tilted her head at her husband, pleading with him to do something about the situation. Aiden was confident she was referring to him more than their vague wedding plans. It is what he wants, Aiden bristled, and he's what I want. Of course, of course. Do you two plan to have kids? John shook his head to his wife, turning hard black eyes to Aiden. We have discussed adoption after we've been married for a while. There's no rush. We want to adopt American children, perhaps a family of children because we have the money. Adoption is an admirable plan. Have you considered other options? Surrogates, perhaps even your sister's DNA paired with Jasper's DNA. I'm guessing you want someone of your bloodline to carry on your fortune? Just like rich people. No, we haven't considered surrogates because we want to help, not add to the problem. In the wild, same-sex couples adopt abandoned babies. We're doing that. Now, if you will excuse me. Before John or Esther could comment, Aiden jumped to his feet. I'm going to go find Jasper. Aiden stalked from the room and paused once at the balcony of the second level. His eyes swept over the people present, not seeing Jasper, so he moved up to the third level out of curiosity. He ascended the steps and turned the corner to another lounge room with open windows and a wash of salty sea air. The ceiling colors changed as the sun moved across the sky, reflecting the soft blues and purples of the sky. The young faces present in the room glanced at Aiden, smiled politely at him, and returned to their private conversations. Not seeing Jasper on the third level either, he stepped out of the small room, returning to the staircase. Hey, Aiden, right? A female voice called from behind him. He paused, spinning around on one heel. Yeah. I'm Aiden. I'm Roxana, Jasper's sister. It's nice to meet you. Don't worry, I know the truth, it's okay. Oh good. Yeah, sorry. I just got grilled by the parents. I needed a breather. And he disappeared somewhere and I can't find him. He's probably with Liam somewhere downstairs. So tell me, what did you guys agree on? Terms and conditions. I guess we need to talk about prenuptial agreements. Aiden shrugged, a slight smirk on his face. You haven't already. Has he discussed when the divorce is going to happen? No, not yet. It's enough to get through all of this. Anyway, he told me you were already married? Yes. Roxana flashed her gaudy wedding ring. It'll be 5 years next year, but it was more of an arranged marriage. We married for connections, but love is coming. He's very charming and very sweet. She looked into the third-floor lounge, dark eyes landing on her husband before turning back to Aiden. Rich people problems? Basically. She rolled her eyes. It's okay though. I'm going to let you go and find your man. If you want any help with the wedding planning, cake tasting, suit shopping, I'll come with you. Roxana squeezed Aiden's shoulder. Yeah, thanks. I'll get your number from Jasper. I doubt he wants to fuss with wedding plans. With a parting smile, Aiden strolled from the third level down to the deck. Smiling faces were familiar but strangers at the same time, and he weeded through them in search of Jasper's familiar frame. He noticed the familiar dark eyes and tanned skin surrounding him, his pale skin and blue eyes becoming the minority. You're looking for Jasper. A man came up beside him, offering a skinny glass of wine and a smile. He shared Aiden's pale skin and had mischievous hazel eyes. I kidnapped him until you answer a few questions for me. Who are you, again? Aiden's blue eyes glittered. I'm the best man. Liam. Question 1. What are your intentions with my best friend? I intend to do what he asked. Marry him so he can have his fortune and then disappear with a quiet divorce. Aiden took a sip of his offered drink and looked past Liam, avoiding his eyes as he answered. Interesting. Look at me. Ah. Aiden rolled his eyes and complied, head tilting as he investigated Liam's face. Liam narrowed his eyes, pursing his full lips together. You like him, don't you? No, this is a job. Nothing more than a job. Keep telling yourself it's just a job. He says the same thing, but I saw you two and it didn't look like just a job to me. Sometimes pretending makes things more real than you want. And sometimes pretending is just pretending. Lie to yourself all you want. He's over there. Liam arched his eyebrows and tipped his head forward. Where? Oh. Aiden turned, looking over his shoulder before fully turning around to see Jasper talking to someone who shared a few of his same features. A cousin, maybe. Right. Aiden bit his bottom lip. He told me you two were waiting to have the first kiss be the wedding night. I think it's an excellent idea. Liam chuckled, the warm tone teasing Aiden's ears. Especially between two people who enjoy lying to themselves. Cheers. Cheers, Aiden sighed, a little smile creeping onto his face as he was left to watch Jasper alone. He crossed an arm across his chest, resting his other arm on top and sipping his wine. Jasper's smooth moments made him more beautiful, the way he tucked his hands in his pockets and shrugged his shoulders up, a sly grin lighting up his face as he realized he won the argument. As he proudly looked around, his eyes met Aiden's and his grin grew. Waving, Aiden approached the group of men. Hi, Aiden greeted the group, waving. This is Aiden, my fiancé. Jasper touched his side, smiling down at him. These are some of my father's business partners. He introduced them in turn, each of them offering warm smiles to Aiden. They returned to their conversation, discussing the most profitable potential business ventures, like some men discussed fantasy football. The evening wore on until the sun fell, and an inky blackness replaced the daytime's bright blue. The groups changed until Aiden had met Jasper's entire extended family. Aiden had 2 more small glasses of wine before they were on the way back to the town car. My God. So much family. Yes. I apologize for my parents. Jasper raked his fingers through Aiden's long hair once they were back in the car. He tucked those locks behind Aiden's ear and kissed his neck. Hey. Show is over, Daddy. You should have kissed me like this while we were inside. Aiden leaned back from him, pushing Jasper away. Yeah, I guess I should have, but I didn't. My sister told me she's going to help you with the wedding planning. Unless you want to help? I don't. Would it be easier if I gave you a credit card to put the purchases on? You trust me with your credit card? Aiden glared at Jasper. I'm giving you $1 million to do this. I'd give you more, you have no reason to steal from me. Speaking of which, I don't want to make this awkward, but I can transfer your first payment to your account, or do a portion to your account and in cash. Can you do all of it in cash? I suppose yes. Tonight. Of course, I will need to contact my accountant, but it should be no problem. Business deals aren't 9 to 5. Cool. Aiden crossed his legs, staring out the window. Are you still going to show me how you ride? No, I want to go home. Of course. Frowning, Jasper nodded to his request and pulled his phone from his pocket and put it to his ear. He spoke to his accountant in Farsi, and Aiden grunted, pulling his phone from his pocket too, and killing time by playing a free cell phone game. On the way to Aiden's place, they made one stop to exchange the money, passing the package to Aiden. Thanks. Aiden opened and checked it, counting the bills up to the amount he was supposed to have, then nodding his approval. You're welcome. Thank you for doing this. We can discuss the divorce and prenuptial agreements later, if you wish. Yeah, later. Aiden drummed his fingers against the stack of $100 bills, looking into Jasper's eyes. A surge of emotion grew in his chest, pushing his heart against his ribs, making his throat tight and his eyes water. Relief washed over him as the car rolled to a stop in front of his apartment. Have a good night, Aiden. Jasper leaned forward, lips brushing against Aiden's hairline. He opened the door, helping Aiden out of the car and walking with him up to the door. You too, Aiden confirmed he had all his things as Jasper retreated to his car, got in and rode away. He watched the car fade into darkness, listened to the press of tires on gravel fade into the rest of the city sounds. When Jasper was gone, Aiden descended the steps and walked down the block towards his regular corner store. He went inside the store, browsing the aisles as the stack of bills burned a hole in his jacket pocket. Fingers danced over the sad selection of candies. He poked his head in the walk-in cooler, and he stopped by the empty hot foods area. He left without a word and without purchasing anything. And halfway home, Charlie approached. Aiden recognized him by his characteristic buzzed haircut and cold gray eyes. "I've got 500, Aiden's voice shook as Charlie stopped in front of him and touched his cheek. "You grew up hot, but I liked you better when you were scrawny and hairless." "I just bet you did." "I have 500. "I thought I asked for 6? 6 was a weird number. I'll have the last 100,000 soon." Aiden passed the stack of bills to Charlie, who counted it like Aiden did earlier. Spend a weekend with me and we could call it even." Charlie tucked the money away and slipped a hand between Aiden's jacket and his shirt. He gripped his side, thumb rubbing Aiden's hip. "You show me a good time like we used to have, and you'll never see me again." Aiden turned his head, closing his eyes. Charlie nosed his neck, pressing sticky kisses up Aiden's muscular neck. Aiden trembled. "Let me think about it. If I have to wait on the last 100,000, I'm going to charge you interest." "Let me think about it." "No, I have something else." He dug in his pockets, pulling out the watch he received earlier from Jasper and the jeweler. "It's not quite 100,000. Charlie snatched the watch box from Aiden and studied the watch, bringing it close to his face. "Did you steal this?" "No. It was a gift from a client. You can have it if it'll make us square." Charlie growled, laying the watch over his wrist and looking back at Aiden. "Fine. We're square. I'll never see you again. Only in passing." Charlie smiled, though it was more of a grimace, and showed off his chipped and crooked front teeth. "Good," Aiden exhaled, releasing tension from his body. "Then bye." He stepped past Charlie and walked back to his apartment. He held his head high as he counted the steps from where he left Charlie to his complex, restarting his count when he crossed the lobby and taking the stairs to his room. He burrowed himself in bed after shedding his clothes, falling asleep within minutes. Part 2. Planning a wedding was a project Jasper happily bestowed upon his sister and Aiden, the man whose blue eyes woke up every nerve ending in his body from his toes to his fingertips to the hair follicles on his head. He avoided the initial planning phase, letting Roxana and Aiden compile the guest list, ceremony locations, and finalize the date. Aiden invited a few of his friends, assumingly the friends who knew about the arrangement, and none of his family. Roxana put every family member she could think of on the list for invitations, even though the date was so soon. Only a fair half would truly be able to attend. There was an intense discussion of the wedding party. Liam was to be Jasper's best man with Aiden's best friend, Rose, as Aiden's best woman. For the sake of looking well-rounded, Roxana and her husband volunteered to be part of the wedding party as well. Jasper handed Aiden his black card to order tuxedos for them both. Aiden attended the fitting with Liam, as Aiden and Roxana wanted the day of the wedding to be the first time Jasper saw Aiden's suit. Then there were flowers, vendors, and decisions about entertainment. Jasper attended these discussions but added nothing except when he requested hamburgers at the reception, and was hushed with a glare from both of them. Once decisions were made, the booking began. Booking was when Jasper's funds dwindled as Roxana and Aiden spared no expense. They booked the music, all the vendors, and the reception food. The reception was to be at a separate location from the ceremony because it was a better fit for drinking, dancing, and merriment. Jasper didn't care about the details of the ceremony, but seeing the smile on Aiden's face during the cake tasting, as they wrote custom vows, Aiden insisted, and while they tasted sample reception dinners, was worth every penny and more. He signed the prenuptial agreement with mild reluctance, having waited until the very last minute to draw up the contract stating Aiden had no rights to his wealth. The week of their big day, Aiden and Roxana fluttered about, sending Liam and Jasper on various small errands, picking up flowers from the florist, extra place cards from the calligrapher, and many zippered clothing bags. The boys were relieved from duty to have a bachelor party full of drinks, slender females and stocky males dancing, and deep conversations about the perceived loss of freedom. Only Liam knew the relationship was a facade, so Jasper could receive his inheritance, and only Liam knew Jasper had more feelings than he should have for the man he hired to marry him. Roxana and Rose, Aiden's best friend, surprised Aiden with a bachelor party as well with attractive men Jasper helped pick out. 2 days before the wedding day, Jasper was drunk. 1 day before the wedding day, Jasper was freaking out, checking and rechecking things he hadn't cared about since the start of planning. He spoke with his mother on the seating chart, his sister about the invitations, the reception plans, and the cake, and his father about the details of the honeymoon until all three of them told him to relax and get some rest. The day of the wedding, he woke before the sun hit the sky and went for an uncharacteristic 5-mile run to relax his racing heart. He returned to shower and began dressing for the big day. Heart in his throat, he dressed with Liam and Nathaniel, his sister's quiet husband. You can't possibly be nervous. He's not going to stand you up after all, and your vows, though cheesy, seem reasonable. Liam squinted at the scrawled writing on an index card. I was nervous on my wedding day, Nathaniel murmured, tying his necktie for the 3rd time. I remember. Liam rose his eyebrows and grinned at Jasper. Think on the bright side, you finally get that beautiful muscle gay naked. Wait until you two drive off before you rip his clothes off, please. No promises, he is incredibly sexy. Jasper chuckled. Roxy and I had sex in the reception bathroom. Really? Liam jerked around to look at Nathaniel, shocking. Too much information. Jasper scowled. I'll try to wait until we're back in the just-married car and down the street before we go for it. Just for you, best man. Jasper finished tying his necktie and fixed Nathaniel's necktie. He gave Liam a quick once-over, nodding his approval to the well-dressed man, and with a deep breath, left their dressing room and started to the altar. After a long back-and-forth planning debate, Roxana and Aiden settled on an outdoor afternoon wedding. Roxana wanted a lavish, delicate wedding, and Aiden wanted something a little more rustic. The conclusion was a wooden altar threaded with lush green vines and warm flowers. Jasper's tuxedo was gray plaid, understated but sharp, and the shirt to match was the beautiful blue of Aiden's eyes. He trimmed his unruly dark curls, shaving the sides clean while letting the top continue the bedhead style of a younger, wilder Jasper. Aiden mentioned liking his wild hair, so Jasper left it wild. He stood at the altar, alongside the smiling officiant, and looked over the crowd of people sitting in half-moon rows around him. Because there was no one to walk Aiden down the aisle, the procession was adjusted to fit the unique circumstances. Liam stood beside Jasper. Nathaniel walked his wife to the altar, releasing her to stand on Aiden's side as he took a place behind Liam. The ring-bearer brought the rings to the wedding party, and the flower girl littered the path through the guests with fragrant dried petals. The guests stood once the flower girl came to stand next to Roxana, turning to face the center aisle. From the second private dressing room, Aiden emerged with his arm linked to Rose's. She led him to the path where they paused. Jasper's brow knit when his eyes fell on Aiden, drinking in his effortless beauty. His hair had been cut, trimmed and styled for the occasion, forming around his clean-shaven face with light curls and shining in the bright afternoon sun. His blue eyes shined, catching Jasper's gaze and then glancing down. Jasper's cheeks bloomed red, his jaw tightened, and his mind shut down, shallow breathing transferring to autopilot. Aiden's suit complemented his frame, accenting his broad shoulders, tugging in at his narrow waist and making his legs look 300 miles long. Aiden floated closer and closer to him. Jasper exhaled, a sigh slipping from his parted lips as Rose released Aiden across from Jasper and stepped in line behind him. Hi, Jasper whispered, an embarrassed smile touching his face as he ducked his head and gazed at Aiden through thick eyelashes, drowning in his eyes again. Hi, handsome. Aiden's full plump lips tugged into a smile. Jasper's heart ached. Welcome family, friends, and loved ones, the officiant's voice boomed over their soft greetings. We gather here today, to celebrate the wedding of Jasper and Aiden. You have come here to share in this formal commitment they make to one another, to offer your love and support to this union, and to allow Jasper and Aiden to start their married life together surrounded by the people dearest and most important to them. The officiant's voice trailed on, fading as Jasper stared into Aiden's eyes, memorizing the soft flecks of pale blue near the pupil and the darker blue edges around the outside of the iris. He noticed Aiden's pupil swelling as their intimate gaze continued. Jasper tore his gaze away from Aiden's eyes, memorizing the curved slope of his eyebrows, the hard line of his nose, and the flickering smile on his pink lips. "Please now read the vows you have written for each other," the officiant encouraged. Jasper opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. "On this day," Aiden started, lifting his chin to look into Jasper's eyes, "I give you my heart. My promise that I will walk with you, hand in hand, wherever our journey leads us. Living, learning, and loving together forever." He caressed each word, speaking slow, deliberate, and loud enough to be heard over the crowd. Aiden's eyes never left Jasper's features, and when his vows were done, he smiled to Jasper, eyebrows lifting in encouragement. Jasper wet his lips, heart pounding in his chest. He scrambled to find his voice, to put the words back in order in his mind, and force them past his lips. "I promise to be your lover, companion, and friend." Shaky words greeted the air, voice cracking reminiscent of awkward years of puberty. "Your ally in conflict, your greatest fan, and your toughest adversary. Your comrade in adventure, your consolation in disappointment, your accomplice in mischief." Jasper paused, searching Aiden's eyes, reaching for his hands and squeezing them. Jasper's thick eyebrows knit, his eyes burned as he squinted at Aiden. "This is my sacred vow to you, my equal in all things. May I have the rings, please?" The officiant looked to the ring bearer, who offered the rings, as rehearsed. Jasper's head spun, hearing the officiant's smooth words vaguely through the passionate fog in his brain. "Please repeat after me." Relieved, Jasper followed the words of the officiant, sliding the wedding ring on Aiden's finger and over his knuckle, settling it snugly in place. Aiden followed suit, repeating the officiant's words with confidence as he slid Jasper's wedding band on his finger. "By the power of your love and commitment, and the power vested in me, I now pronounce you married. You may kiss each other." The officiant stepped back, tears welling in his eyes as he looked between the pair. Jasper squeezed Aiden's hands, threading his fingers between Aiden's and guiding him closer. Jasper pressed their bodies together, hips connecting as he slipped his hands away and up Aiden's body to his face. He lifted his chin and raked his fingers through his thick hair, cradling his face. Jasper's thumb brushed Aiden's lips and he leaned forward until their lips met, his lips sweeping over Aiden's and then coming back to taste them. He meshed their lips together, retreated for a moment, and went back for a deeper kiss, lips parted the second time. He passed his tongue across his own lips and into Aiden's mouth, curling around his tongue and gradually backing off again. Jasper bit Aiden's bottom lip, a playful nibble. Aiden purred at Jasper's slow withdrawal, eyes fluttering open. Excitement grew between them, and Jasper tilted his head, administering another hungry kiss to Aiden's lips. When they parted, the crowd exploded with applause, and Jasper took Aiden's hands again. Aiden's sunny expression brightened Jasper's brooding features, and Jasper leaned into his husband, burying his nose in his hair and stealing a third kiss. Liam clapped Jasper's shoulder. "You're screwed." Liam stepped away, as Aiden led Jasper from the altar and down the path of sweet-smelling rose petals. The guests were given time to change if they wished, and time to converse among each other as they migrated from the outdoor ceremony area to the indoor reception hall. Aiden dragged Jasper into his dressing room, closing the door behind him. "What is it?" Jasper frowned. "Nothing. I have something for you. I got you this as a wedding gift." Aiden dug through the tossed clothing bags, recovering a gift box and handing it to Jasper. "It's a watch. You bought it, but I picked it out for you." "Oh." Jasper opened it. "Oh. It's lovely." He removed the blue and black-faced watch from the box by the smooth silver band and put it around his left wrist, snapping the metal closure. Jasper kissed the corner of Aiden's lips in thanks. Aiden melted under his touch, legs wobbling, muscles turning to jelly. He rested his hand on Jasper's chest. "Let's go eat cake?" Aiden suggested, teasing his necktie. "You're almost to the fun part, Daddy." "Yeah," Jasper rumbled, letting Aiden slip away, giggling. He watched the sway of Aiden's hips as he skipped from the dressing room and back outside. An invisible tether pulled him to his feet, following Aiden to the rustic reception building. They paused at the entrance until Liam introduced them as Mr. and Mr. Edwards Van Schermerhorne. According to the detailed agenda Aiden and Roxana laid out, their first stop was the dance floor because it was the smoothest entrance. The roar of happy voices and clapping greeted them as they moved into the center of the room. Surrounded by curved long tables, Jasper wrapped his arms around Aiden, petting down his back. Aiden's hands slid up Jasper's suit, resting on his shoulders. Aiden's thumb massaged the base of Jasper's neck. "I kept it simple," Aiden whispered, lips kissing Jasper's jawline. "Thanks." Generic music faded into a slow dance, and Jasper's cheeks burned as their guests focused on them. Jasper swayed his hips, leading Aiden in an adult version of a middle school slow dance. "I think we've made it believable." Aiden's hands clasped behind Jasper's neck, and he tucked his face between his arm and Jasper. "Indeed? You taste sweet," Jasper purred, holding him closer. "You have no idea." "I will soon, won't I?" Jasper stole a secret kiss, pressing his lips into Aiden's neck, biting soft flesh with a little growl. Aiden shivered, exhaling in a breathy whisper, "Yeah, hold off, tiger. We're almost done." Jasper lost himself in holding Aiden, escorting him through their first dance and into the next song. Time constraints fell away, and he continued their safe intimacy for another 5 minutes. Jasper dissected Aiden's scent, separating pheromones from the highs and lows of spicy cologne. The pheromones excited him, and their connected hips didn't help his situation. The wave of desire passed through him, before he ended the dance with a sound kiss to Aiden's lips. They took their seats in the center of the head table, Jasper resting an arm around Aiden, rubbing the sharp cuts of his muscled hips as Jasper's father stood to give a welcome speech. He thanked everyone for coming, even though he never expected to have a wedding for his son. John's speech continued with childhood stories of Jasper and how proud they were of their son. When the speech passed 5 minutes, the servers snuck past John to deliver food to the head table and the rest of the guests. Aiden hurried Jasper to eat and then dragged him to greet each table of guests, take pictures and further mingle. Dinner was 2 hours, and then toasts were another hour. Liam spoke first, giving a captivating speech on how true love can find anyone, especially when they weren't looking for it. He thanked Aiden for being the perfect man for his best friend, for being someone sharp, quick-witted, and extroverted to pull Jasper from his own thoughts. He encouraged everyone single in the room to open their hearts to new situations and new relationships, and strive to be happy and not content. Liam rose his glass to Aiden and Jasper, a loving smile landing on his best friend and the relative stranger, and blessed them with happiness and new adventures in the first year of their marriage and the years to come. Aiden's best friend stood for a toast next and giggled about how perfect Liam's speech was. She followed his speech with a brief talk of how she and Aiden came to the city. They were both visionaries ready for a change. Life hadn't been easy for Aiden, but Jasper brought a certain kind of spark to Aiden's eyes. Rose thanked Jasper for bringing true happiness to her best friend, and wiping a tear from her eyes, she lifted her glass as well. With her toast, the dance floor opened to everyone, allowing people still eating to continue picking at their food, and those already finished to get up and moving before the reception continued. Jasper and Aiden stayed seated, so Jasper took the opportunity to enjoy a little more of his dinner. Aiden laughed with Rose and Roxana, pushing them to dance. Liam escorted Rose to the dance floor, and Roxana dragged Nathaniel along. What would happen if Rose and Liam ended up together? Aiden looked at Jasper, lifting his wine to his lips. For tonight or forever? Forever. They would self-destruct. Liam is forever single and always traveling. Unless your friend likes traveling, of course. She never has. Aiden leaned into Jasper as Liam and Rose got closer and closer together. We won't be the only ones having fun tonight. Who says you're having fun tonight? You said honeymoon, not right after the reception. I'm tired. Are you not exhausted? Aiden blinked and looked up at the other man. Jasper's thick eyebrows scrunched together as he thought about it. No, I'm not. I'm horny. Men. Aiden laughed. Okay, I confess. I'm curious. About? How big you are, of course. Aiden rested a hand on his thigh, sliding it between his legs and creeping up to the center of his body. Ah, Jasper sighed, spreading his legs for Aiden's wandering hand. He straightened his back, pulling Aiden closer so he could continue his tease in relative privacy as the guests danced. Is it really about size? I thought it was about stamina and finesse. It's about size. Because if you don't have the size, if you also lack stamina and finesse, there's nothing left. Aiden grinned. Easy, Tiger. We're almost done. We have cake tasting, more dancing, and we're out of here. I'm going to tell you right now, if you smash cake in my face, I will make you wait until we are at the honeymoon location before I even let you see me naked. You will be punishing yourself too, you know. Jasper chuckled, kissing Aiden's temple. I think I can tease you so much more than you can tease me. Aiden walked his fingers along the hardening ridge of Jasper's cock. Jasper turned his head, pressing his lips into Aiden's forehead. His hips arched into Aiden's touch, and slight movements pushed his shaft into Aiden's hand. I think you can too, Jasper rumbled. He watched, eyes floating around the room, as his new husband continued to tease. Aiden gripped him outside his slacks, thumb and first finger outlining and teasing him. Tell me how you want to fuck me? Hard. Really? Impressive. Aiden rolled his eyes. There's more. And fast. Definitely fast. In the limousine, in fact. What position were you thinking? The one with you on all fours and me on top. Doggy style? Aiden wet his lips, squeezing him and massaging Jasper more. Good choice. I want to get on my knees between your thighs right now and suck you down. Do you? Jasper's cock throbbed. Oh yes. I want you to come in my mouth so I can taste you. It would be better than the cake. Damn, Jasper kissed Aiden's forehead again. You win. Jasper surrendered to him, and directed his attention back to the dancing guests. The songs alternated between upbeat tunes and slow dances. Liam and Rose got more comfortable with each other as the dancing continued. By the last dance, Liam's arms wrapped around Rose's body, and they danced his front to her back, with sly smiles exchanged between them. Hand in hand, they shuffled to the microphone to call the group to attention, and direct everyone back to their seats for cake cutting and dessert. They're definitely having sex tonight. Indeed. Jasper took Aiden's hand and helped him to his feet, guiding him over to their 3-tiered wedding cake. Jasper attended the cake tasting, and after a brief argument, they selected a different flavor for each tier. The largest and bottom tier was vanilla. The middle was chocolate, and the exclusive top tier was strawberry. Buttercream icing decorated each layer, and the bobble-headed custom cake topper rested on the strawberry tier. You cut it. Aiden wiggled next to him. We cut it together. You pick up the knife, Jasper instructed as people filed around them. The wedding party flanked either side of the cake table. The photographer snapped photos from various angles. Aiden picked up the customized knife, and Jasper wrapped his hand around Aiden's. Keeping their hands steady, Jasper sliced through the soft icing and the fluffy cake. He fished the slice of cake out using the flat serving utensil and dropped it onto a plastic plate. Aiden pinched a piece of cake between his fingers. Jasper copied him and brought the cake to Aiden's lips. With glittering blue eyes, Aiden ate the piece of cake, sucking the leftover bits of icing from his fingers. He took one of Jasper's fingers into his mouth, tongue curling around it, and cheeks hollowing. Aiden's cheeks colored, plumes of red touching his high cheekbones. Aiden brought his piece to Jasper's lips, lifting his blue eyes to meet Jasper's dark eyes. An honest smile touched Aiden's lips, one Jasper rarely saw, but it was his favorite. Jasper ate the small piece of cake, kissing the pads of Aiden's fingers and leaning in to kiss him. He tasted the sugar on Aiden's lips and pulled back, only to lean in again, this time with a growl. Easy, Aiden pushed against Jasper, but he took the kiss anyway, pressing his lips into Aiden's jaw and then his neck. Jasper nibbled and Aiden squealed. The crowd cooed, melting at the affection between Aiden and Jasper. The newlyweds shuffled out of the way as the caterers moved in to slice the cake. The guests were served as Jasper and Aiden were shuffled into a nighttime photo shoot where Jasper kissed Aiden many more times. He gazed into Aiden's beautiful eyes with each kiss until they were both ruffled and in need of space. The photographer snapped photo after photo, capturing each stage of their intimate kisses and the growing desire between them. When the shoot was finished, she gave Aiden a hug and smiled to Jasper. She called them the cutest couple she'd photographed this year so far, and she hoped their life together would be full of joy. As she spoke, she teared and wiped her eyes with a light chuckle. The two men floated back inside and onto the dance floor, music blaring. Jasper hesitated, but reluctantly agreed to dancing after Aiden administered sweet kisses and asked in his most convincing voice. With fingers laced together, Aiden moved his hips against Jasper's, body swaying with the temp of the music. Jasper's dancing was comical, lacking Aiden's skill. Jasper replaced skill with dedication, allowing Aiden to keep him hostage on the dance floor until it was time for their last dance. It was a slow dance, and Jasper yanked Aiden into him. Finally, he whispered. "Hi," Aiden purred when their bodies met. Jasper pressed his palm into Aiden's back, nestling between the two wings of his shoulder blades. His lips swept up Aiden's jawline, kissing him behind his ear as he piloted the last dance. "This is the best night of my life." "Mine too." Jasper rocked his hips into Aiden's, stepping to one side and the other. The dance was simple, but Jasper's feelings weren't. He knew there was more between them than a business transaction. The way Aiden relaxed into his arms, the sparkle in his eyes, even the way Aiden relayed the custom vows, was deeper than either of them wanted it to be. It took seconds for Jasper to get excited, and he maintained a low level of excitement through the dance. At the halfway mark, Aiden's cock joined his. Jasper groaned. "What are you thinking about? We're leaving here in 10 minutes. And we'll be alone as a married couple." "Yes. It's weird but exciting. You'll make someone an amazing husband." "Thank you. Are you getting sentimental on me?" Jasper rubbed Aiden's back. "No, I'm just saying it's weird. You better have lube and condoms in the car. We're married, but you're still using a condom. I don't know where you've been." "You say it like I'm a dog." You might be. I didn't background check you before I agreed to this." "I'm not." Jasper smiled. "But I have done it before. Sex, of course." "My lord, I would hope so. Also, the last dance at a wedding is the perfect time for the sex talk, isn't it?" Jasper chuckled. "It's better than never. I want to rip this suit off you, suck you down my throat, turn you over, taste your ass, and then bury myself inside you." Aiden's hand clenched around Jasper, muscles jumping in the slow rhythm of their dance, stuttering. A soft sigh met Jasper's ear, and Aiden turned his blushing face away. "You like this? I want to swallow your first orgasm and then fuck you into the next one," Jasper continued, charmed by Aiden's aroused silence. "Just 2 orgasms? How many can you have in a session?" "It depends on how skilled my partner is at stopping my cum." Aiden's cheeks burned again, his hands pet down Jasper's shoulders and chest. He adjusted his tight slacks. "I can't promise I'm skilled, but I can promise I will practice if you tell me what I need to do." "That's a good answer. And I will." Aiden cackled. The song faded, leaving silence. The guests were ushered outside and in 2 individual rows with sparklers and confetti. Jasper and Aiden followed behind them, walking under the bridge of colored sparklers and shower of confetti. Aiden's laughter rang out into the night and over the hum of the crowd as they reached the limousine. Jasper jerked the door open for Aiden and crawled inside behind him, slamming the door shut and pushing Aiden into the seat of the limousine at the same time. Jasper's excitement dwindled when they walked through the crowd of guests, but when the door of the limousine closed, it came back with a rush. His head spun as he grabbed Aiden, one hand gripping the back of his neck and pulling him into a desperate kiss, the kind of kiss he spared his family. He meshed his lips with Aiden's, then explored his mouth, stroking both sides of his tongue with a growl. Aiden whimpered against Jasper's lips, shifting his position on the seat. He opened his legs wide and pulled Jasper between them, wrapping his strong arms around Jasper's shoulders, one hand burrowing in his dark curls and massaging his scalp. With a growl, Jasper pulled back, lips swollen and eager for more. He sat back on his heels, pushing Aiden's jacket off his shoulders and tugging his necktie loose, tossing it aside. Aiden's buttons were war casualties as he ripped Aiden's shirt open to reveal his toned and tan body. Aiden's tight muscles stretched over his broad chest. Aiden backed up against the seat, shrugging the torn shirt off his shoulders and tugging Jasper's blazer. "Get naked," Aiden commanded, a knee sliding up to block his body from Jasper's. Jasper growled, dark eyes studying Aiden's form as he threw off his jacket. He fussed with his tie and his shirt, pulling the buttons apart and discarding both articles of clothing on the ground. Jasper's swollen muscles bulged as he covered Aiden again. Jasper swept his lips along Aiden's sharp collarbones and down to his pert nipples, lips passing over them and tongue following. He took his time navigating the planes of Aiden's body, working his way over each curved abdominal muscle, tongue licking his belly button, but stopping at the belted rim of Aiden's slacks. "Can I taste you?" Jasper glanced up the planes of Aiden's body, meeting his eyes as he pressed his lips into Aiden's lower belly. "You ask? I thought we already established what's happening here." Aiden's cock pulsed. Jasper inched lower, pressing his lips into the ridge of his shaft and then biting him through his pants. "It's polite." Jasper bit him again, sending shockwaves of pleasure through Aiden's body, forcing his back to arch. "Oh fuck. Yeah. Suck me," Aiden groaned, shoulders curling inward as his body twisted. He panted as Jasper unbuckled his belt and fished into his pants. The rush of cold air hitting steaming skin preceded Jasper's lips by seconds. A guttural moan slipped from Aiden's lips, and he dropped his head against the door, the back of his skull pressing into the tinted glass of the window. Aiden's eyes darted around, glancing towards the front of the limousine, spotting the vague outline of Jasper's driver, and out the opposite window, watching the twin taillights of cars rush by. He looked down at Jasper, mesmerized by his lips around him, before his eyes fluttered closed and he groaned again. Jasper sighed around Aiden's cock, cheeks hollowing as he sucked him. With one hand wrapped around Aiden's base, the other browsed over his skin, sliding over his corded thighs and between firm ass cheeks, thumb sliding over his entrance. Aiden awarded him with another pleasured groan and a soft curse, spreading his legs more. Oh, Aiden hissed, losing his words as Jasper continued to tease by pushing his thumb inside him. He tightened, heart hammering against his chest, and gripped the leather seat until his muscles relaxed, opening up in anticipation. Jasper continued, circling his entrance as he swirled his tongue around the head of his cock. He licked sweet-tasting wetness from Aiden, then retreated with a rumbling growl, reaching over Aiden and digging through the limousine's storage for condoms and lubricant. He scattered the condoms on the floor of the car, focusing on uncapping the lubricant bottle and squirting the clear liquid on his fingers before they went back to Aiden. Jasper's gentle progression tortured Aiden, the gradual way Jasper started with his first finger and added his second and third as Aiden's body adjusted to his invasion, how Jasper sucked him through the whole thing, showering him with attention. Jasper added more than enough lubricant, using the extra to stroke Aiden's length and give him a break from the attention. His dark eyes trailed up to his face and he grinned, sliding up to kiss his trembling lips. "Turn me over and fuck me," Aiden instructed after the kiss. "But I'm enjoying tasting you." Jasper grinned more, fingers reaching back down to push into Aiden again. Aiden arched into Jasper, one strong leg curling around Jasper's, stroking his calf. "Yeah, but I want you to fuck me." "We'll see." Grinning, Jasper pressed a kiss into Aiden's neck and snaked down his body again, dotting kisses up his hardness before taking him into his mouth again. This time the pleasure overwhelmed Aiden. His legs closed around Jasper's shoulders before he forced them open again. His hands raked through Jasper's dark hair, gripping his curly locks. Aiden's hips squirmed, thrusting into Jasper's mouth. His cock bumped into the back of Jasper's throat, cutting off his airway and making them both gasp. Rolling pleasure went through Jasper as Aiden writhed under him, until he gripped his hips, holding him in place. His nails dented Aiden's tight skin, which threw Aiden into a frenzy. "Please fuck me," Aiden whispered, shutting his eyes tight and turning his face away from Jasper, panting hot breath into the window. "Please." His hand went from Jasper's hair to his broad shoulder, squeezing it. "All right." Jasper kept his hand on Aiden's hip as he reached over for the condoms, tossing one on Aiden's sweaty chest. "Ah. Yeah, you're wearing one." Aiden rolled his eyes to watch Jasper continue undressing, and then came back to help him out of his bottoms. Jasper tossed Aiden's slacks and briefs aside with a slight noise of approval. "Yes," Jasper agreed, using both hands to turn Aiden from his back to belly down, adjusting the position to fit the awkwardness of being in a vehicle. Aiden braced himself on the back of the seat and the door, tossing his long blonde hair over his shoulders and looking behind him. Jasper slipped the condom over his thick cock and then guided himself to Aiden's entrance. He opened him up, pushing in inch by inch. Jasper leaned over Aiden, kissing his shoulder and sweeping his soft lips across his freckle-dusted back. His lips traced the outline of Aiden's shoulder blades, puckering into a kiss at the center of his back. Both hands pet down to his hips, gripping them as he burrowed inside him, pausing only once his sharp hips dented Aiden's ass. Groaning, Aiden tossed his hair, stretching his back under Jasper's touch. His shoulders shrugged up and his back arched. Legs spread, his cock rubbed against smooth leather, staining the seat with his excitement. Aiden fumbled around, grabbing his torn shirt and spreading it over the seat. Jasper chuckled, "Are you prepared?" "Yeah," Aiden grunted, stroking his own cock once before bracing himself again. Jasper swirled his hips against him before starting to fuck him finally. He started slow, bridging in and out of him and working up to full speed. Jasper bit his shoulder to keep him in place, one hand leaving his hips to brace them both against the door of the limousine. He licked beads of sweat from Aiden's tight shoulders and nuzzled into his neck. "You're beautiful," Jasper whispered into his neck, hot breath tickling his skin. To accent his words, he kissed Aiden and then went back to his goal, slamming into him and getting them both closer and closer. He lost himself in his growing arousal and the salty smell of Aiden's excitement, the taste of soap and salt on his skin, the sight of his blissed expression. Aiden's eyelids fluttered, his tongue lashed out to wet his dry lips. His Adam's apple danced with ragged breaths. "Yeah? See close. Touch me," Aiden panted. "I am touching you." Jasper rubbed a hand from Aiden's hips up his chest, petting over quivering muscles. "I mean my cock." Sobbing, Aiden grabbed Jasper's hand and pushed it down between his legs. Jasper rumbled and bit his shoulder again before wrapping strong fingers around Aiden, squeezing and stroking him in time with his thrusts. Jasper felt him tighten around him and his cock grow from his teasing before Aiden whispered he was close. Jasper wanted to hang on, but Aiden writhed under him, humping his hand and throwing his hips back against him in a vain attempt to avoid getting overstimulated. Aiden trapped Jasper inside him, and Jasper twitched, unable to stave off his own pleasure, straining against the condom's thin barrier. "Oh, yes. Come," Jasper growled into Aiden's ear, biting his neck as his hips shifted from controlled to autopilot, working against Aiden's ass desperately as he surrendered to primal behaviors. His orgasm bloomed in the pit of his belly, tying him in knots. He clawed down Aiden's chest and only growled when Aiden cried out. The noise was music, spurring Jasper on and forcing more high-pitched cries from Aiden's lips. Aiden slipped into his orgasm first, back arching, then bowing into Jasper. He got impossibly tight and his shoulders and neck flushed red. It faded into splotchy patches on his back as his hips jerked forward with each burst of sticky fluid. Jasper massaged the head of Aiden's cock, rubbing those last dribbles into his pulsing skin and inspiring a new wave of desperate squirming. "Fuck off, fuck." Aiden twisted on Jasper's cock, still tight from pleasure, and yanked Jasper into his orgasm despite his mental protests. Jasper gasped, shutting his eyes tight as the initial wave hit him. The second wave hit him harder, and he cracked his eyes open, eyelashes offering butterfly kisses to the shell of Aiden's ear. He buried his nose in Aiden's damp hair, thin strains brushing against his skin, sticking to his cheeks and bushy eyebrows. Jasper's come down was gradual, his heartbeat slowing, blood returning to the other parts of his body. "Ah!" Jasper grunted, staying over him until he softened and slipped out. Jasper tied off the condom and tossed it aside as Aiden stayed in place on display. Tears welled in Aiden's blue eyes. "Are you okay?" "Yeah." Aiden worked his jaws, clenching and releasing them. 10 minutes and we go again." He cut his eyes to Jasper, a mischievous smirk growing on his face. "Absolutely. Yes. Except this time I'm on top." Aiden's eyes locked on Jasper's, challenging him to disagree. What? Jasper's heart stopped, his thoughts wiped clean as he considered Aiden's sexy proposition. "Yes," he croaked, clearing his throat and repeating himself. His cock stirred in his lap. "But I need like 10 minutes. "Of course." Jasper pulled Aiden close. "Weddings are boring." "Fuck, I know, right? Jesus, I forgot if it's your wedding, you have to stay the whole time, and the stupid reception with 3 different dancing sessions?" Aiden's hair rested on his shoulders as he leaned into Jasper, petting his curls as they recharged. "You planned it." "No. I planned the wedding. Your sister and Rose planned the reception. If it were up to me, the reception would have been a cake cutting and nothing more. If it were up to me, we could have gone to the courthouse and gotten a marriage certificate." Jasper stroked Aiden's chin, smoothing the ends of his blonde hair. "It was a nice wedding, however." "Ah. Thank you. You were beautiful. You are beautiful." Jasper glanced down, cheeks coloring. "Thank you." Aiden looked down too, busying himself with petting the leather. "So where are we headed?" "To my place. Our flight leaves tomorrow around noon. I can send someone to your place to pack for you, or we can buy you a new wardrobe for the trip. I have too many clothes, let's just swing by my place. Let me pack a suitcase for how long? 2 weeks? A month? All right, damn. A month, where are we going again?" "Song saw Private Island." "Aha." Aiden paused. "Oh, you mean an actual private island?" "Indeed. I booked a jungle villa for us with a private pool. It looks over the water." Jasper shrugged. "I wanted to make our honeymoon private and special." "How much is it?" "You are asking how much I spent on the villa." "Yes. We're married now, and until we divorce and the prenuptial agreement takes effect, I can ask about finances." "Well, I purchased it, but the rental price was around $100,000 for the month." Jasper squinted, then his expression cleared into a smile. "How much was it to buy?" "Ah, more than $100,000. Jasper kissed Aiden. Aiden's cock grew against his leg. "This is my cue to stop asking." "Yes, wait, does the money excite you?" "It does when you're spending it on me, not when you're giving it to me. But it's time for round 2, Daddy." Aiden picked a condom from the floor and grabbed the bottle of lubricant. Jasper shivered, slipping out of his pants and kicking off his shining black loafers. Once he was naked, his heartbeat crept up until his heart was slamming against his ribcage. He shifted his position on the seat from relaxed to upright, as his dark eyes watched Aiden's experienced movements. "I'll open you up first," Aiden offered, rubbing lubricant on his fingers. He moved between Jasper's legs, stroking the stretch of skin between his balls and his entrance. Jasper groaned, melting against the seat. "Have you been on bottom before?" "Once." Jasper's eyelids fluttered. "A long time ago, but I'm sure this time will be better." He wet his lips, smirking at Aiden and leaning up for a quick kiss. Jasper needed it to calm his nerves as Aiden continued down to his entrance, fingers circling it. "I hope so. I hope it'll be the best you've ever had." Aiden pushed 2 fingers inside Jasper, who curved his back and opened his legs wider. Aiden's fingers slid in smooth, opening him without incident, but Jasper wasn't used to being penetrated. It was uncomfortable at first but shifted to pleasurable as Aiden moved his fingers in and out. Jasper roped an arm around Aiden's shoulders, pulling him down for more affection. He pressed their lips together, groaning as Aiden curled his fingers and discovered the perfect spot inside him. Jasper's excitement swelled, setting him on fire from the inside out. His soft sounds threaded together as Aiden's fingers pumped into him faster, his body matching Aiden's speed. "Go slowly," Jasper whispered, sliding strong hands from around Aiden's shoulders down his muscled arms and to his sides. "But please take me." Their eyes met when Aiden looked into Jasper's face. Emotions swirled in Jasper, his chest tightened, his heart danced, then he looked away. His cheeks flamed. Aiden kissed him and tore into the condom. He added more lube to Jasper's entrance and to the natural lubricant on the condom, and then pushed into him. Jasper squirmed with tension. He stretched around him with a melting groan, bracing himself on the limousine's black leather seat and still holding on to Aiden, feeling his contracting muscles under his hand. He pursed his tingling lips together as he watched Aiden's shaft disappear inside him and appear again when Aiden pulled his hips back. The sight of Aiden inside him, Aiden's pale thighs butted against his own tense thighs, and his abs moving under a thin film of skin, added to Jasper's pleasure. It overwhelmed his senses, keeping him grounded in the moment as his excitement grew. "Relax." Aiden arched over him, fingers brushing through Jasper's hair and lips pressing into the sweaty skin of his forehead. The kisses continued down Jasper's face, along his jawline. Aiden kissed Jasper's neck, teeth scraping sensitive skin. His hips moved faster, skin slapping wet skin each time, and he reached between Jasper's legs. His fingernails clawed the soft skin inside his thighs on the trip down and gave the swollen head of his cock a squeeze. Jasper rewarded him with liquid anticipation and a whimper, jumping in Aiden's tight grip. Aiden fondled him, hands sliding up and down his length to the same rhythm as his thrusting, encouraging a steady flow of wetness. "Ah. Can we change positions?" Jasper rumbled, shuddering. To what?" Aiden leaned back, fingers leaving Jasper's cock and going to his lips, licking them clean. Jasper's cheeks burned again. He shifted, closing his legs to one side and getting to his hands and knees, one knee on the seat, the other leg extended. Aiden grunted as Jasper twisted on his cock, rubbing the small of his back once he was in the new position. He pressed his lips together and slammed into Jasper. Jasper cried out, eyes going wide. You said gentle," Jasper gasped. "Yeah, sorry." Aiden paused. "And no, it's fine." Keep going," Jasper stammered, hips swaying over Aiden's cock. After the pause, Aiden worked up to speed again, hands gripping his sides like handlebars to keep them both in place. Jasper slammed his fist into the door, head dropping between his shoulders. He twisted, at first pulling away from Aiden. As the session progressed, the initial spark of pain subsided, and each thrust inspired butterflies in the pit of his belly. His pleasure crept over him. Birthed somewhere in his belly, it spread through his torso and down his limbs. His pleasure was a wildfire, setting flame to everything in its path. He writhed and squirmed until Aiden pet down his spine, calming him with his touch. A kiss to Jasper's meaty shoulders and the tickle of Aiden's blonde locks sprouted goosebumps all over his body. He adjusted himself, sliding his tight grip from the door to the back of the bench seat, arching his back, spreading the thick columns of his thighs. Aiden's fingers walked along the crease of his hips, down his hard belly, and along the firm ridge of his cock. Jasper pushed into his hand with a gasp and another desperate slam of his fists. He lingered in a pleasure limbo, gluttonously craving more with no light at the end of the tunnel. Aiden teased, juggling Jasper's balls and skating his hand back up. A pinch to the head of his cock sent Jasper reeling, fireworks igniting behind closed eyelids. His breathing tightened along with every individual muscle packed on his bulky frame. He opened his mouth, prepared to warn Aiden of his impending orgasm when it hit him and rendered him speechless and gasping for air. The cycle of frustrating pleasure broken as a new numbing sensation filled him. He froze under Aiden, vision going white while his other senses sharpened. Each sensation plunged him deeper, the punishing thrust of Aiden's hips slamming into his stinging ass, the briny smell of his semen as it met the air, the soft hum of the limousine's engine under Aiden's soft grunts and his own sobs. Pain came on the coattails of the overwhelming pleasure, bringing him back to earth as quickly as he left. Aiden abandoned his cock but raked his fingers over aching muscles. Oh, too much. Jasper pressed his forehead into the cool window, eyes rolling. Hey there. Aiden chuckled, kissing Jasper's shoulder and bringing his hips to a stop. Fuck. Jasper twisted, his shoulders first and the rest of his body following. He surveyed Aiden's sweaty skin, from his heaving chest up to his flushed cheeks and now curly hair. Did you? Come? Yeah, while you were on another planet. Aiden kissed him again, hands still roaming over Jasper's body. Which was hot, by the way. You come like that every time, and I'll never stop fucking you. Jasper sighed, eyes leaving Aiden's face to look around the car, full lips pressing together. Aiden removed his condom, tying it and tucking it away with Jasper's. Then he grabbed his already cum-stained shirt and cleaned the leather seat under Jasper. Aiden cleaned both of their cocks next, working in silence. Jasper chewed his bottom lip, folding his shaky legs as Aiden took care of the other details. He marveled at Aiden's grace and confidence, the unfazed way he cleaned moist spots left from semen and sweat. When he was done cleaning, he grabbed 2 chilled waters, pressing one into Jasper's sweaty thighs. Jasper grunted, smirking and snatching the water from him. What are you thinking about? Aiden asked after taking long gulps of his water. You. His lips tugged into a smile. What about me? How beautiful and amazing you are. Recharged, Jasper sat up and touched Aiden's cheek, thumb touching his lips before he replaced his thumb with his lips for a sweet peck. Don't get all mushy. Aiden warned, pressing a finger to Jasper's lips before he could speak more. We're at your place. You want to turn around so I can go to mine or your legs broke? We can change our flight time if we need to. I want to go inside and enjoy the rest of our night together. Jasper grabbed his pants, stuffing his legs in and buckling them at his waist. He shoved his feet in his loafers and stepped out of the limousine. His first step was infantile, and he braced a hand on the side of the vehicle, waiting for shuddering muscles to remember their function. Aiden climbed out after him, wearing only drawers and suppressing a smile, the rest of their clothes draped over his arm. How you doing there? Aiden touched Jasper's back, pinching his side. Am I carrying you over the threshold? I'm fine, thank you. This is my place. He motioned to the dark structure in front of them. Aiden approached the modern house hand in hand with Jasper. Do I get to move in? Wait, how long are we staying married? Are we going straight for a cheated during honeymoon, or are we going to give it a good old college try? Aiden. No, seriously. Like I have clients. It's going to be a little awkward if I don't have something to say to them about my availability. Plus, 6 months is a long time. The marriage I know was $1 million, but I have expenses. Aiden, Jasper cut him off again, voice firm. We will discuss it after the honeymoon. For now, inside. You can explore if you wish. I'm going to lie down. Yeah, fine. Aiden grinned. What? I fucked you good, didn't I? You require verbal confirmation? No, I have physical. Winking, Aiden stepped inside the house and stopped, blinking at the large open living space. The few sitting places occupying the room stretched over a large area, and the open kitchen featured a coffee pot on one counter, and nothing on the other 4. The place was spotless with vaulted ceilings. Minimalist. Jasper explained, my room is over here. Part 3. The morning after the wedding, both men were too exhausted to drag themselves out of bed and to the private jet Jasper rented to take them from the States to their private villa in Cambodia. Marriage day 2 was spent in bed, legs intertwined and alternating between having slow sex and sleeping. Jasper brought food to the room to share. Marriage day 3 was better. Jasper woke first, and Aiden dragged awake at the sound of the shower and the sight of Jasper in the rainwater shower with a clear glass door. Aiden joined him for a quick session, and dressed in Jasper's casual clothes. The driver took them by Aiden's apartment to pack a month's worth of clothes and straight to meet the rescheduled flight. The private jet hummed on its personal runway as the limousine pulled up alongside it. The driver unloaded their suitcases and assisted the stewardesses in packing them away. Jasper shook the hand of the pilot and co-pilot, thanking them for being patient with their last-minute changes and introducing his new husband Aiden, who leaned into his side, stubbled cheek resting on Jasper's shoulder. Aiden had no idea what to expect when he entered the private aircraft, but he blinked as he looked down the length of the jet. Lush couches lined the left side with individual chairs tucked behind foldable desks on the other side. A flat-screen television hung from the ceiling, separating the front portion from the kitchenette and bathroom occupying the back portion. Aiden wandered inside, collapsing on the couch and stretching over it before looking at Jasper. "You can take a chair. This space is mine." A glitter touched his blue eyes as he tucked his arms behind his head, raising his shirt to show a sliver of pale skin, a hint of lean muscle. "I see." Jasper chuckled. "What do you usually do on flights?" Well, I don't fly." "So, nothing. What do you usually do?" "I read generally, but this flight is 18 hours. I will nap for most of it." 18 hours? A full day. Indeed. It's good you've gotten comfortable. Jasper bent over Aiden, covering him in a gray shadow, and kissed his forehead. "I will be back in a moment," he promised, standing again and weeding through the cabin to approach the flight attendants. Aiden closed his eyes and fell asleep as the jet groaned to life and went into the air. With slight turbulence, the jet entered the atmosphere. Aiden's ears popped. He rolled onto his side, curling into the plush couch for hours into the flight. When his belly woke him from hunger, he sat up and looked around for Jasper, finding him reclining in one of the chairs, a book on his lap and reading glasses on his nose. Aiden plucked the book from Jasper's hands, folding the corner of the page and replacing the book with himself. He slid into Jasper's lap, curling one strong arm around his shoulders and kissing his cheek. "Hey Daddy," Aiden purred, voice still heavy with sleep. "Did you rest well?" "I did." "How long did I sleep?" 6 hours. Jasper wrapped one arm around Aiden's waist and rested the other on his thigh. "Damn. Well. So, I had a question." "Yes?" "Why did you have an inheritance requirement? Why did you have to get married before getting your money?" A conditional trust." Jasper pursed his lips together, dark eyes floating around the room before back to Aiden. "Because I didn't pick the path they wanted for me." "Because you're gay?" "No, they are okay with my sexual orientation. They do not like my profession. They wanted me to work, and to them, I do not work." "I don't get it." "I'm an investor, remember?" Jasper tilted his head, smiling as he looked up at Aiden. "I remember. Last I checked, investor is a job." "Correct. They wanted me to be a doctor, lawyer, or teacher. To make an honest living, since I did not have to worry about money. They wanted me to pursue my passion." Jasper paused, a sad grin touching his face. "As long as it was a doctor, lawyer, or teacher, of course. At least they had expectations for you?" "I do not want to complain. I'm comfortable, of course. I have an inheritance larger than most people can fathom, but happiness is a factor too. I didn't want to work in a profession I hated for my life. And I wasn't settling down either. So the trust is a way to control your life." "Indeed? See. I'm married now. I should be settling down, thinking of starting a family." "Do you want children?" "I have never considered it. I suppose with the right person, yes." Jasper shrugged. Aiden studied Jasper's dark features, chewing the inside of his cheek. "Do you?" "Yeah, I do. I want to adopt some kid who's had a messed up life and give him something better." "Yes." Jasper nodded. "What don't they like about being an investor?" "I don't work normal hours. They see it as gambling with large stakes. And they're correct, but it's about the way you use your money to make more money. Keep risks low and you won't lose as much, but you also won't gain as much. If you take a big risk, you will lose more, but you can also win more." But not everything has to come with a risk, right? If you invest in a house or a rental property, then it's mostly reward." "Yes and no. Rental properties have taxes, they can sit vacant, the tenant can destroy the place, but overall rental properties are low risk. What about me? What about you? What kind of risk am I? Aiden shifted in Jasper's lap, swinging his legs over his lap and straddling him. He pressed a kiss to Jasper's lips before he could reply. Jasper moaned, stealing 2 more kisses before he leaned back. He raked through Aiden's wild blonde locks, meeting his blue eyes. You're a high risk. Good. Growling, Aiden rolled his hips against Jasper's lap, spurring him into action. In 2 more beats, Aiden's clothes were in a pile next to Jasper's clothes, and Jasper dug for condoms. Aiden rode him until they both climaxed, and then Jasper carried him to the couch, crawling on top of him and pounding him into a second and reluctant third orgasm, putting Aiden back to bed with a blissed expression. This time Jasper napped with him, wrapping strong arms around his bare torso and spooning him awkwardly on the slender couch. Aiden nodded in and out of sleep, until the plane descended in Cambodia, landing on a private runway. The bump of the jet hitting land and Jasper's gentle touch woke him. We're here. Jasper kissed his cheek, nuzzling into his neck more. There should be a driver from the villa waiting for us. Let's get dressed. Jasper put a hand down Aiden's bare body, slipping over his lean obliques, sliding over his tight stomach. Aiden whined and wiggled. Toss me clothes. Legs folded, he watched Jasper collect their strewn clothes and hand him jeans, briefs, and a shirt. Once dressed, Aiden combed his hair smooth again and exited the jet behind Jasper. Cambodia's humid air smacked him in the face. The lush greens of the jungle burned his eyes. Jasper walked Aiden to the waiting town car, as the driver transferred the bags from the airplane to the trunk of the vehicle. Our villa is nestled in the jungle with a private pool and an ocean view. Jasper opened the car door for Aiden. Fancy. So I can swim and sunbathe naked? Why, yes, I suppose so. Blushing, Jasper climbed into the town car with Aiden, pointing out landmarks as they rode to the villa. The primitive road took them through lush foliage, passing ocean properties and hotel accommodations. They passed leggy high school girls clad in crochet bathing suits and crisscrossing tan lines, along with older couples enjoying their golden years, legs kicked up on comfortable lounge chairs and books in their laps. The limousine eased to a stop in front of their honeymoon suite, a rustic one-bedroom cottage-style villa resting between vibrant native greens. The driver dropped their bags on the honey-brown hardwood floor of the foyer. The villa could fit in Jasper's living room, but it was bigger than Aiden's whole apartment. Kicking off his shoes, he browsed the place barefoot, passing the 4-poster bed, the spa-like bathroom equipped with an inset bathtub and a rainwater shower, and out the back door to the private terrace looking over the pool and poolside shower. Jasper trailed along, moving their bags to the walk-in closet and meeting Aiden in the private terrace with folded arms. Do you approve? Yeah. This place is awesome. And we? You. You own it, right? Indeed. You can come whenever you'd like. Sure, I guess. How long do we have to stay married? I'm not so sure. I should contact my lawyer. You can do it when we get back. For now, we should enjoy the honeymoon. Aiden turned to face Jasper and pulled his shirt over his head. He bit his bottom lip, studying the gray wood of the terrace before dragging his eyes back up to Jasper and continuing his display. He unbuttoned his jeans and dropped them down his hips and peeled off his underwear last. You want to go again? I thought honeymoons were for non-stop sex. Grinning, Jasper kissed him, squeezing his hips. You're insatiable, but I expect I cannot deny my new husband, can I? Heavens no. Aiden teased Jasper's formal tone, leading Jasper to the outdoor lounge shaded by a sheer canopy. Jasper obliged, pounding him until he dragged a hard-earned orgasm from them both. The first day bled into the second and the third. Aiden explored the island, private strolls through the quiet jungle and along the beachfront. On day 1, he kept his exploration close to their villa, lingering outside and in the area nearby. He watched the sun set behind the water and watched the sunrise over the trees on the second day. The second day, he also found the exclusive island spa. Paid by Jasper's black card, Aiden enjoyed a hot stone massage and a steamy sauna date. He sat across from older ladies and listened to them lament on their husbands' sexual problems. After the third woman, Aiden chimed in, admitting the women wouldn't like his advice, but he knew what he was talking about all the same. He told them to spice it up, and had them giggling as he told them about his many conquests. He held a small sex education course for the women who had good intentions but weren't in tune with their sexuality. After the sauna, he hugged them all and promised to meet them at the beach the following morning for a relaxing tanning session. Jasper met him at the edge of the jungle and planted a warm kiss on his lips. "Oh, hey there." Aiden beamed, cheeks flushed from the steamy sauna. "You made friends?" Jasper quirked an eyebrow, glancing past him at the giggling ladies. "Oh, I did. We talked about sex. I told them exactly how I get you to purr." "I see. What did you tell them?" "I said part of making it exciting for the man is making him wait, not making it available all the time, but not to throw out the headache excuse. Just sexily telling him to wait until later, to make it a game." You're giving sex advice to rich women?" Jasper thought about it, then nodded. "Smart. Thank you. So what did you do today?" "I finished the book I was reading, so I was going to come join you, but I see you're done." "Oh, we can do something else." Aiden walked his fingers up Jasper's chest. Maybe later." Jasper pressed his lips into Aiden's neck, making him shiver down to his toes. His nails scraped Jasper's chest, and his pool blue eyes hardened before softening again with a grunt. "I was hoping tomorrow evening we could have a private catered dinner together. Can you fit me in your busy schedule?" "Of course. I can fit you in anytime you want." Pleased, Aiden accompanied him back to their villa. "It will be formal attire, and we will be dining under the stars. Can you be ready by 7? "Yeah. The only thing I have planned tomorrow is a morning at the beach with the girls. We'll probably talk about sex, about if they tried any of my tips and dick sucking or something." "What will you tell them about dick sucking?" "To take their time and enjoy the dick. If they treat it like a chore, their husbands won't enjoy it as much, but if they enjoy the process, then first he'll blow faster and second she'll feel sexier and empowered." "Interesting. Have you ever considered being a sex coach?" "What's a sex coach?" "Basically, a person who talks to couples about how to have good sex, how to listen to the other person, and how to improve their relationship overall so the sex is better." "Oh, really? Didn't know it was a profession. So you can get paid for girl talk?" "You do need certification, of course." "So, I could get a certification in girl talk?" "Yes." "Oh, done. So done. Sign me up yesterday." Aiden led Jasper to the 4-poster vacation bed, lying down and pulling Jasper on top of him. He hooked one leg around the man and one hand pet his broad shoulders. "I will look into it more for you once we get back to the States." "Perfect. So, what are your plans for tomorrow?" "I found another book on the theory of investing, and I was going to begin reading it." "Riveting. How about you come to the beach with the girls and I?" "And read on the beach?" "You know what? Yeah, Daddy, read on the beach." "I can do that." Smiling, Jasper relaxed against Aiden, head resting on Aiden's shoulder. The conversation lapsed into a comfortable silence. Aiden held Jasper, listened to the rise and fall of his breath against his chest, the soft whistle of air sailing in and out of his lungs. He listened to the white noise of the jungle until it lulled him into a light doze. Aiden wanted to hate Jasper, to be ready for a divorce the second they returned to their normal lives, but he found himself thinking of a future, considering shifting from a highly paid escort to a sex education counselor. He considered moving from his apartment with Rose into Jasper's modern mansion, with conveniences he wasn't used to. He considered, ultimately, staying married to Jasper. The idea terrified him. It made his heart beat faster, his pulse race, and tied his belly in knots. It also made him smile to consider waking up to Jasper's sleepy face every morning, smoothing his thick eyebrows and kissing his lush lips. He was in danger when they were alone, when Jasper could throw on his natural charm and make Aiden's heart melt. He was in danger when Jasper looked at him with gentle eyes over the edges of a thick book, when Jasper cracked the bathroom door and he got a secret glimpse of the man living his life. He was in danger when Jasper administered sweet kisses and the sacred four-letter word crept into his brain. Aiden lounged around the villa the rest of the evening, watching a little television and using Jasper's extra digital reading device to browse books for purchase. Aiden read outside on the lounge, read inside in the inset bathtub, and read next to Jasper in the bed, enjoying the non-sexual intimacy. The next morning, Aiden showered and shaved in preparation for his date with the women. Jasper observed, arms folded as he leaned against the bathroom doorframe. They met the girls on the beach, Jasper taking his physical book to a lounge chair and stretching out while Aiden gave hugs and kisses and walked with the girls at the edge of the water. The clear salty water licked at their toes as they got their steps in while talking. The morning merged into a sweltering midday, and they huddled in the sauna again to sweat out toxins and gush about how charming Jasper was. Aiden met Jasper back at the villa, with plenty of time to prepare for their private dinner. They dressed in separate areas, and came together just before they left for dinner. Despite it only being a few days from the wedding, Jasper's formal attire sent Aiden's heart galloping. Jasper adjusted his cufflinks, blazer sliding up to show his gifted watch. "You in a suit never gets old," Aiden purred. Jasper looked down at his box-toed loafers, high cheekbones coloring. "Thank you. This way." Jasper touched the small of Aiden's back as they walked down the path from their villa, took a left, and went deeper into the jungle, until the path cleared into a planked dock looking over the water. Yellow candles lined the dock and rested on the square table, holding a crisp white tablecloth in place. Jasper pulled Aiden's chair out for him, and sat down next to him in the other chair. When they were sitting, a waitress breezed over and poured deep red wine. She relayed the standard menu. An appetizer platter would arrive first, then 2 individual native seafood plates, and after dinner, dessert would be delivered if they wished. With a smile, she left them to their own company. Aiden fussed with the cloth napkin, draping it over his lap. "This is lovely." Jasper rose his eyebrows. "Yeah, it's nice." Aiden tucked his hair behind his ears as he looked up at Jasper, flashing him a dazzling smile and smoothing the wrinkles in the white cloth. "It's weird. Being married. I know we won't be for long, but I think I like it." The sleeves of his suit pulled unyielding cloth revealing bare wrists. "I have enjoyed it so far as well." "Ah, I thought you purchased a watch with your engagement ring?" Jasper tipped his head to Aiden's wrist. "Oh yeah, I did. I figured you would wear it at least occasionally." "It's really nice, I don't want to scratch it or anything." "I suppose, but if you scratched it, you have enough to get it repaired or to purchase a new watch." "I know, but ruining a perfectly good watch would be a big waste of money." "As is not wearing said watch. Did you pack it at least?" Aiden rubbed his bare wrists, staring past Jasper's head. "Yeah, I packed it." "I would love to see you in it." "Yeah," Aiden sighed, gulping his wine. "So let's pretend we stayed married. What's something about your parents' marriage you want to continue in ours?" "Well, my parents have been through a lot and they stay together. They never consider throwing in the towel, so to speak. I appreciate their long-term dedication to their relationship, and I wish the same for my own marriage." "You?" "Damn. I mean, they were nice enough. I mean, I wouldn't say we really got along, but you know. They don't have to like me, I'm just saying." "My parents?" Aiden wrinkled his nose. "Well, there weren't a lot of positives. My mom meant well even though she failed at it, but I guess I'm with you. They stuck together even when things were difficult." Still pretending. "Do you want to move in the next 5 years?" "I could move, but I see no reason to when we can visit anywhere we want for as long as we want." "Is there somewhere you've always wanted to live?" "I don't know, New York maybe." Aiden rested his elbow on the table, putting his chin in his palm and regarding Jasper. Aiden watched his lips move as they spoke. "We could move to New York. Would you ever desire to leave the continental United States?" For a trip, I don't mind, but I don't think I want to live permanently outside the States. I don't speak any other languages. You can live in England or Australia. Oh, Australian men are cute, and I love the accent. Ah, England it is. Jasper chuckled. What places would you like to visit? Australia? Aiden pursed his lips in a tight, playful smile. Besides Australia. Oh well. England, New Zealand, Scotland. All the lands. China, Japan. Everywhere. What if we did 2 places a year? A hot place in the winter and a cooler place in the summer? Yeah, we can. I want to backpack through Europe. I want to go to museums and explore the history. Jasper nodded. Sounds perfect. The waitress assistant placed the spread of appetizers in the middle of the table. The waitress came behind her assistant and refilled their wine glasses, pouring a splash in both before retreating again. Jasper swirled the wine in his glass before taking a sip, mixing the leftover warm wine with the chilled wine. What was your first impression of me? Aiden sat back, crossing one arm over his chest and cradling his glass of wine in his hands. You were loud and unapologetic. It was startling, but I loved it. Yeah? His tense features softened. I have a confession. I thought you were going to be an ass, but you weren't. I mean, you were standoffish, but I could understand why. I wanted to hate you more than I did. I'm glad you didn't. I enjoyed our first conversation and our lunch date before the engagement party. Good, me too. I'm also enjoying this, our honeymoon, and getting to know you better. Tell me. Aiden straightened up, leaning forward and picking at the appetizer, nibbling thinly sliced raw meats with lightly steamed vegetables. Has there ever been anything between you and Liam? What? Jasper blinked and looked away from Aiden, frustration written on his prominent features. No. Well, I had an interest, but he wasn't interested in a same-sex relationship. Was it hard being friends with someone who you wanted to sleep with? There is love between us as brothers. Sometimes a brother is better than a lover. True. He's a good brother. He looks out for you. He does. He thinks there's more between you and I than the agreement. Is there more between us? Aiden bit his lip after his question. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Actually, don't answer. I don't? It's okay. I won't? Good. So anyway, Aiden sighed, tapping the wine glass. I gave away the watch. What? I gave away the watch. And the $500,000. Aiden dragged his eyes to Jasper. Why? Because I owed someone a lot of money, and I didn't want it over my head. It's why I met you for the job. Why I demanded you give it to me. It's my fault I lost the watch. I didn't plan to. I wanted him out of my life. Is he out of your life now? Jasper's dark eyes hardened. His posture changed from relaxed to uneasy, strong fingers gripping his glass of wine. I think so, yeah. What's his name? Charlie. Charles something. Charles Lacombe. I lived with him and his friends for a while after I left my parents' house. I owed him money for expenses. Totaling an insane amount of money? Jasper growled, forgive me. What was he going to do if you couldn't pay? I could pay, so we don't have to think about it. I see. Jasper pursed his lips over more. Excuse me. One moment. Jasper set his glass down and stepped away from the table, disappearing in the darkness but staying on the wooden plank path. Oh, okay, Aiden murmured, focused on the sway of Jasper's hips as he walked. Aiden picked at the food more while he was alone, knitting his shaped eyebrows. The rise and fall of Jasper's voice added a rhythm to the heavy silence left behind. Aiden picked out words, his own name, Charlie's name, and polite closing words. Aiden's unintentional confession slipped from his lips. Staring into Jasper's dark eyes, reminiscing on their wedding night, he couldn't lie to Jasper's face. For once in his life, he valued honesty. Jasper returned wearing a slightly more pleasant expression, slipping his phone in his pocket as he sat down. Aiden's eyes flickered, glistening with curiosity. Questions danced on his tongue. "Your meal." The waitress placed a hand on their table, snapping Aiden to attention. The waitress assistant sat food in front of Aiden and Jasper, fluttering around them in silence. He and the waitress retreated again, and the men cut into their food. Aiden and Jasper ate in silence, enjoying the food and each other's company. Not talking while eating was one of the many things they naturally agreed on, and the conversation revved up again once Aiden finished his meal with Jasper asking a question first. A silly question. Jasper asked what superpower Aiden would have and why. Aiden blew out his breath, eyelids fluttering, and answered, "Power mimicry, the ability to have someone else's ability for a limited time." Power mimicry was the ability when one couldn't make a decision. Jasper pouted. Giggling, Aiden asked for his answer, which started a deep discussion on the pros and cons of every possible power. Aiden and Jasper dismissed the typical ones first. Invincibility was too obvious. Telepathy was a superpower people never thought through. Time travel ran the risk of losing time in reality or altering reality too much. Jasper decided on omnilinguism, the ability to understand all forms of language. They laughed over bad haircuts, Jasper retelling the story of his first haircut and the trials of his thick dark curls. His parents hedged his hair back, tried to slick it down, but it never stayed. Jasper promised to show Aiden the painful collection of school picture day haircuts. Aiden had fewer instances of bad hair fiascos, given his parents' lack of interest in general childcare. His parents subjected him to a once-a-year big chop until he was a teenager, and he grew his hair to his shoulders. Dessert came on the heels of their conversation, and they shared the sweet dessert between them. They took the silliness back to the villa. Aiden asked if Jasper ever had a bathroom accident in his adult life, to which Jasper reminded Aiden he went to college. Jasper asked for the wildest thing Aiden had done in a hotel room. Blushing, Aiden confessed he had sex on the windowsill of an open window, as dangerous as it was. He admitted he didn't climax, but the client didn't care. With a frown, Jasper lured Aiden into bed, bombarding him with affection he deserved. He promised Aiden he didn't have to work if he didn't want to. Jasper combed his hair back, planted a kiss on his forehead, and promised him protection regardless of their marital status. After a week on the island, Aiden signed them up for snorkeling on the third week of their vacation, giving them a solid 7 days to attend lessons and practice. Aiden practiced throughout the week, starting with securing the mask on his face and dipping his head underwater in the inset bathtub. He graduated to swimming laps in the private pool attached to the villa, improving his stamina and comfortability wearing the snorkeling mask. Jasper followed suit, spending time in the bathtub adjusting the fit of his mask and swimming alongside Aiden in the pool. Aiden moved their practice to the shallow end of the open ocean on the 2 days before their official snorkeling trip, traveling down the beach one way and then back up the beach the same way they came. Anxiety tied Aiden in knots the day of their snorkeling trip. With fitted swim bottoms, Aiden wandered down the beach, bare feet sinking into the sand with every step. Jasper carried both snorkeling masks and 2 pairs of flippers. "This is going to be so fun." Aiden beamed at Jasper, sliding a hand down his arm and lacing their fingers together. "Indeed." Jasper kissed his forehead. "I mean, it's not as exciting as cliff jumping or skydiving, but being able to have an intimate view of the ocean is something not everyone gets to do. We'll go skydiving and cliff jumping eventually, don't worry." "I know, I'm just saying." Aiden shrugged as they boarded the boat with 3 other couples. Aiden introduced himself and Jasper, his husband, getting to know their fellow snorkelers while Jasper sat beside him in silence. Jasper cast the 2 other men an apologetic gaze when Aiden and the women's conversation shifted from snorkeling to relaxing spa days and the luxurious sauna. The blonde-haired older woman who introduced herself as Nancy and her husband as Philip suggested Aiden try the mud facial and asked how he enjoyed the hot stone massage. Both Aiden and the slender, dark-skinned woman Cassandra praised the hot stone masseuse. Cassandra suggested the private dinner in the jungle to Nancy and Aiden. For the men except Aiden, The 10-minute boat ride dragged along as the conversation of amenities continued. Aiden, Nancy, and Cassandra reviewed each one in detail until the boat coasted to a stop. Aiden grabbed his gear from Jasper, affixing it to his face like in practice and slipping the flippers on his feet. He slipped into the cool salt water, hovering beside the boat until Jasper joined him and they kicked off together. Aiden's tanned belly kissed the surface of the water as he propelled himself away from the boat, twisted, and dove under the water. Strong thigh muscles fell into a casual rhythm as Aiden hovered between the shallow ocean floor and the sparkling ocean surface, casting a dancing light on the coral reefs and peculiar sea life. Used to divers, schools of fish parted and swam past Aiden and Jasper. Larger fish with cheetah-patterned flesh hovered over the ocean floor, shifting out of the way only when Aiden entered their immediate personal space. Spiky sea urchins huddled next to each other, black against their bright-colored surroundings. The ocean's delicate ecosystem captivated Aiden. The bright-colored fish nestled in the coral, living amidst the nooks and crannies of sea rocks. He cracked the surface of the water when his lungs burned for fresh air, and continued his exploration when he satisfied his body's needs. Jasper, his brooding features, his strong arms, the calculated way he spoke, floated to the front of Aiden's mind as he swam. The decision of marriage weighed on him, to divorce or not to divorce. Their fingers were puzzle pieces, created from conjoined molds and separated at birth. Jasper leveled Aiden's wild nature a rock to anchor Aiden. He offered excitement in the confines of stability. Aiden broke the water's surface again once his legs burned. He searched the surface for his anchor, floating to join him next to the boat. "Did you explore?" Aiden pulled the mouthpiece from his face, looking at Jasper through his lightly fogged goggles. "I did. Did you see the black sea urchins?" "Yeah, the spiky things. I also saw this really big fish with a cheetah pattern. I sound dumb." "Stingrays?" "What? There are stingrays too. Be right back." Despite his aching thighs, Aiden dipped himself back under the water, seeking out a diamond-shaped animal. He searched until he spied one floating around the rocks, body rippling inches over the sandy ocean floor. Childish curiosity overtook him, and he followed the stingray, legs pumping him through the water at half the grace the ocean-dwelling animal had. The sun's reflection through the water dimpled the stingray's murky green skin, mimicking the patterns on the rocks the stingray disappeared under. Aiden retreated back to the boat, clawing his way inside it with no help from his legs. The others had returned before Aiden. They changed and settled, men wrapping their partners with fluffy towels. "I'm guessing you found one?" Jasper removed the mask from Aiden's face and draped a towel around his shoulders. Aiden collapsed into Jasper's chest. "Yeah. Legs started burning though. I'm going to feel this tomorrow." Jasper kissed Aiden and squeezed excess water from Aiden's shoulder-length hair. "We don't have to go anywhere tomorrow, so it's okay. But you'll miss your spa dates and your mud facial eyebrow mask." Aiden quirked his eyebrows at Jasper. "Eyebrow mask? Now there's something wrong with my eyebrows." "No, I thought it was called a mud facial eyebrow mask." Yeah, well, I'm signing you up for it too. I like mud facial eyebrow masks." Jasper nodded, kissing Aiden's forehead again. "Did you have fun?" "Yeah. It's another world down there. Like a secret one untouched by humans. Mostly untouched by humans. It's sacred." Jasper held him close, lifting him into his lap as Aiden relayed an exaggerated version of his snorkeling dive, and they rowed back to shore. Aiden's excitement subsided into exhaustion on the trip, leaving Jasper to carry him most of the way back to their villa and helped him into bed for an afternoon nap. Sex followed the nap, and another nap followed the sex after Jasper satisfied Aiden's growing appetite. They went snorkeling in different spots throughout the last 2 weeks of the trip, picking stretches of beach to swim along as they built stamina for deeper dives offshore. Aiden squeezed in his mud facials and time at the spa between holing up in the villa with Jasper, disconnecting from reality for hours next to his husband. They enjoyed home-cooked dinners made from the well-stocked supplies in the kitchen. They walked hand in hand through the jungle each morning and afternoon, beginning and ending their day with each other, learning more about each other with every passing day. Aiden told Jasper all his secrets on those walks, confessing to a history of drug experimentation before he settled into escort work. A small criminal history because of the time he stole candy at the corner store, and about his high school reputation as the gay slut. Jasper revealed his dark past too. Once, he raided his parents' liquor cabinet when they weren't home. Jasper experimented with marijuana in college, skipped classes to buy and sell stocks and properties, and had a brief affair with his salt-and-pepper-haired literature teacher. They giggled over celebrity drama and analyzed books they both had read. There weren't many. The day before their flight out, Aiden's phone buzzed against the side table, the ring poisoning the quiet atmosphere. His friends had texted him congratulations the first few days of his trip, but as the trip wore on, he received fewer calls. His parents called in the second week of the trip, but Aiden ignored the call. The third week, Rose checked for life. He replied with a thumbs up and an eggplant picture. Too groggy from a good vacation and even better sex, Aiden stretched one arm from the warm blankets, grabbing his phone. "Hello," Aiden groaned, tucking the phone between the lush pillow and his cheek. "You bitch," the voice on the other end spat. Aiden bolted upright, wide blue eyes scanning the room for Jasper's familiar face to find the room empty. He was alone, but his back stayed straight. "See Charlie?" "I thought," Aiden stammered. "You thought what?" "You'd give me the money, and then send your little bitch husband after me to get it back?" "It's fake. He's not my husband, and I didn't tell him to do anything to you." "Yeah, well, you'll get what's coming to you." "What? Why?" "I paid you and you promised it was over." Static raked over the phone, men shuffling clothes against the receiver. Charlie spoke unintelligible words. "Charlie? Charlie." Panic touched Aiden's voice. The line went dead and Aiden scowled. He dropped the phone on the pillow, tucking his hands between his muscular thighs and studied the flooring, eyes following each plank from the bed to the entrance where he lifted his eyes again. His mind swirled, a new idea bubbling to the surface every second. What if Charlie lied to Jasper? Or threatened him with violence? Aiden chewed his bottom lip raw as the sun moved across the achingly blue sky, stepping out of bed once he sorted his thoughts. Aiden showered and dressed in lounge shorts, raking his long hair into a messy ponytail. He slipped his phone into the pocket of his shorts and tossed the sheets up on the bed. Bed-making duties defaulted to the last person out of bed. This morning, like most mornings, Jasper rose somewhere between midnight and before Aiden, leaving it for him. Aiden never made the bed, not to any standard. He tugged the sheets from bunched together and fluffed the pillows on top. "Jasper," he called through the house, walking on his toes from the lavish bedroom to the main room. "In here," Jasper replied, "in the dining room." I made you lunch." He motioned to an experimental rolled sushi meal with jagged cut salmon and sloppy rice-covered pieces in white plates, contrasting with the dark wood of the table. Jasper added candles and fresh flowers to the center of the table, and each plate had water and wine to drink. Wow. Nice. Thanks." Aiden kissed Jasper's shoulder and picked the best-looking piece to try first. "What are your plans for the day?" "Not much. There's a snorkeling trip later I was thinking we could catch if you're interested, but first I wanted to discuss something before we return to the States." Jasper sat down next to a plate of food and a stack of legal-length papers with a calligraphic heading difficult to read upside down. They had discussed similar papers days before the wedding, both scribbling their names on the appropriate lines, saying if the marriage were to end at any point, their assets were protected from the other party, unless infidelity was a factor in the divorce. "Is there an issue with the prenuptial agreement?" "No." Jasper paused, rubbing his hands down his thighs. "I know this is unconventional and rather unexpected, but I love you." "You what?" Aiden paused mid-bite, the food turning to ash in his mouth. "I love you," Jasper forged on, "and I want to know how you feel about staying married." The sushi faded out of focus, blurring around the edges as Jasper continued to speak. Despite sleeping through breakfast and the initial rumbling of his belly, Aiden's appetite faded. No. Jasper. This was a transaction, remember? I remember, but I feel it has become more than a transaction. We have gotten to know each other. We have similar hopes and dreams and goals for the future. We were pretending to be married. It was hypothetical. Why pretend if you don't want it to be true? Because it's easier than saying fake marriage every day. Because it's part of the job. I'm pretending to be your husband. And I think I've been pretending pretty damn well. A knot grew in Aiden's throat. Indeed? And the sex? I suppose you will deny our chemistry there, too. I am a sex worker. If I can't make someone feel good in bed, then I need to look into a new job. Aiden worked his words around his tight throat, gripping the handle of the chair. Tell me you felt nothing. I need the other half of the money you promised me when this all started. Aiden. I'm destroying the prenuptial agreement. Because I care about you. And I don't care about the money, not anymore. Don't do that. Just stop. Listen. No. No, you know what? I need air. I need air. Wiping his face, Aiden pushed away from the table and stormed out of the villa frowning. He marched halfway to the beach before pausing, scowling even more, and marching back to the villa for a shirt and pair of shoes, ignoring Jasper as he rifled through their things. He tossed clothes around the room until he found the faded band shirt he wanted, and tucked his feet into worn slip-ons. Aiden slouched into a seat at the outdoor bar, exchanging his bank card for alcohol. The first gulp of icy beer pooled in his stomach like a rock, weighing him to the chair. It tasted cheap, it was cheap, and it took 3 beers to lift his stormy expression and relieve the tightness in his chest. He switched to rum and coke as a man sat down beside him. Aiden swirled his drink between sips. Hey there. You come here often? The man placed a $100 bill on the counter, sliding it to the bartender with instructions to pick up Aiden's tab after he ordered a scotch. He tasted his scotch and turned his body to face Aiden, who kept his shoulders forward, fixating on the bartender's freckled face. Nope. Do you drop a bill on people's drinks often, or are you looking for more? I'll drop a bill on anyone I think is pretty enough to deserve it. A slow grin spread across the man's face. Aiden cut his eyes over to him, looking him over from his salt and pepper hair to his lean muscled build and down to his out-of-place loafers. Thanks for the compliment, I guess. Aiden finished his rum and coke and pushed it away. You know what, I could use a good distraction, but I come with a price. He turned to the older man as he pulled his hair tie down, letting lazy curls frame his face. You got a name, Daddy? John Corrigan. Can I get you another? No, I'm good. I think I may have found something better. Aiden's lips quirked up at the corners, his blue eyes dancing as he looked from John's crotch up to his face. He stole a quick glance to his hands, checking for a non-existent wedding ring. Yeah? What's your name? Blake. Aiden kicked off his shoe and rubbed his bare toes against John's ankle. Edwards. So, do you own a villa here? Aiden plastered on an easy smile and his sassy charm, locking away his personal life. I do, bought it a few years back. I mostly rent it throughout the year, but every so often I like to stay in my investment. John slouched in his seat, shoulders curving forward. Understandable. This is my first time here. I'm with some friends. How are you enjoying yourself so far, Blake? It's nice, actually. I went snorkeling. I met some nice ladies at the spa, but I don't know what else there is to do around here. Thoughts? Well, you could go sailing. I believe there is a nature tour, a private dining experience in the jungle. Aiden flashed a dazzling smile. I should check some of those things out. So, you're just here for some vacation time? To get away from your busy, demanding life and family? Aiden inched closer to John, sitting on the edge of the bar stool. No family, just work. John shrugged, eyebrows raising and forehead wrinkling. I'm a private accountant. Sounds like a lot of work. It can be, but it's rewarding. I'm paid a lot of money to handle money. I like numbers. I'd hope so. So no family? You couldn't find a pretty lady willing to spend your money for you? No. I'm divorced. Recent. The connection died a year after the marriage, but we stayed together for the children. Aiden blinked, eyelashes fluttering. Children? How old? A little younger than you, I'd guess. 2 girls, 1 boy. The boy is the youngest. I have a question. Did the connection die because you don't point due north? Rather, my arrow isn't straight, how you say, John exhaled in an embarrassed chuckle. Oh, Aiden purred. What kind of experience have you had with your curvy arrow? Not much, unfortunately. I've been married so long, I don't remember how to make the connection. You're doing all right so far. Would you like to take a walk with me? If I have another drink, I'm going to have to retire for the night, which is no fun. Aiden wrinkled the bridge of his nose. Yeah, sure. John opened his wallet, placing a few more bills down on the counter. Aiden lifted his chin, looking down the bridge of his nose into John's wallet. He spied several exclusive cards, and the smell of crisp money tickled Aiden's nose. Aiden stood, putting his crotch right in front of John, the soft jersey of his shorts outlining what was inside. John coughed, his cheeks coloring, and stood as well, touching Aiden's back to lead him out. So what kind of men are you into? You. John fumbled over his words as they stepped off the building's foundation and into the sand. I mean muscular guys. Not the skinny ones. Yeah. Sometimes a skinny boy can be fun. If you want to bury your cock in something, yeah? I don't know. Doesn't really do it for me. Skinny men remind me of my son, and I don't want to think of my son in bed. Reasonable. But I don't remind you of your son, right? No, not at all. Good. So, what are you into? I confess I haven't done much. I guess regular sex. I've always wondered how it felt. Oh yeah? It feels good, a deep fullness, an undeniable connection. Aiden touched John's shoulder. How much? John shivered at Aiden's touch, digging in his pocket for his billfold. Aiden's hand walked down John's shoulder, and he leaned closer, whispering into the man's ear and pressing his warm lips into John's neck. John nodded, hand coming up to cradle Aiden's face and pull him into a shy kiss. Let's go to your place? Aiden checked for hesitation as John nodded. Sure. The travel conversation returned to possible fantasies. Aiden teased John about the possibilities, enjoying the older man's blush. John got into it the closer they got to his place, asking Aiden about other clients and his own interests. Aiden said his favorite clients were older men. He had no problem with switching. Having a strong, confident businessman under him excited him. He rubbed a hand down John's back. Aiden checked for normalcy, spying John's suitcases in the corner, papers spread on the table, the remote squished in the corners of the couch. John grabbed clothes from the backs of the chairs, shoving them into the laundry chute, and collected the scattered papers into one stack. Be right back. Bathroom. Aiden skipped through John's place, closing the door to the bathroom. Similar to Jasper's villa, John's bathroom featured an inset bathtub and a rainwater shower. Aiden turned on the shower while he poked through the bathroom, finding condoms under the sink and John's single toothbrush next to a travel-sized toothpaste and mouthwash on the counter. He stepped in the shower for a rinse-off, cleaning his cock and entrance just in case. Then he dried off, stepping out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel, condoms in his hand. Oh. You showered. John blinked, brown eyes widening. He stared at Aiden, who floated over to him, joining him on the couch. I left money. He pointed to the counter. You wouldn't try to cheat me, would you? Aiden flopped down next to John. And no. You're nervous? Why, yeah. Aiden raked his fingers through John's salt and pepper hair. Don't be. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. He kissed John's temple as one hand unbuttoned the man's shirt and swept over his furry chest. Aiden's fingers walked down to the rim of John's pants, threatening to slip lower. Have you thought about it? How you'd want to be taken? Gently at first. John laughed again, releasing his nervous energy. I've always wanted to ride a man. I've been in charge, my entire life. I want to be the submissive one for a change. Oh yeah? I should let you do this then, huh? Get undressed for me. Aiden sat back on the couch, allowing the shy man to strip at his own place. John threw his shirt aside and unbuckled his pants, stepping out of them. John lingered in front of Aiden, his lean muscles jumping under Aiden's approving gaze. He wiggled between Aiden's strong legs. I've always wanted to suck dick too. John sank to his knees, petting Aiden's thighs. Aiden untucked his towel, and John grabbed his cock, squeezing it in his hands. Aiden's hips bucked, and he looked over John's head, envisioning Jasper between his legs, shyly advancing to his cock. Jasper's dark curls tickled his thighs, his stubble pricked sensitive skin and sent tremors through his body. His dark eyes met Aiden's blue eyes, sending another pulse of pleasure through him, and rewarding Jasper with a clear bead of moisture. Jasper licked Aiden's cock clean with a soft moan. Keep going, Aiden rumbled, hand resting on the back of John's head, fingers sliding over his cropped haircut. Aiden's hips lifted, burying his cock more in John's mouth as a tease, before he let John continue his sly exploration. John swirled his tongue along Aiden's length, taking him into his mouth and bobbing his head. Aiden grit his teeth, clenching his jaws. He pushed Jasper out of his mind, focusing on the delicate way John explored him. John worked his mouth around the head of Aiden's cock, sucking him down, until the spongy head hit the back of his throat and he retreated. John battled with Aiden's impressive length, begging for more sticky fluid. When he received it, he rose to his feet again. Did you bring condoms? I did, but they may be the wrong size. I think I saw some bigger ones in the bathroom. Aiden handed John one of the condoms, and John tore it open and stretched it over Aiden's cock. Aiden's hips squirmed and he whimpered, eyebrows knitting together. Yeah, I believe it's the wrong size. John chuckled, fighting the condom off of Aiden. Hang on, I'll get more from the bathroom. Thanks, Aiden grunted, stroking his cock as John searched for condoms. John returned with 3 condoms in one hand and Aiden's phone in the other. It was vibrating in your pocket. I don't know if you want it. John dropped the condoms on the couch and handed Aiden his phone. Yeah, thanks. Without looking at the caller ID, Aiden tossed his phone aside, opening a gold-wrapped condom. John threw a leg over Aiden's lap, pushing his knee into the couch. I feel ridiculous. John murmured, redness painting his chest, shoulders, and neck. It's sexy, an older man willing to bottom. Aiden squeezed John's hip, guiding him in place. Aiden's cock twitched as John positioned himself, lowering his lean body, feeling him against his entrance. The rejected phone buzzed again, humming over the couch cushion to the edge of the couch. It buzzed until it defaulted to voicemail, but then buzzed again 30 seconds later. You should answer. John collapsed next to Aiden, seizing his phone before it clattered onto the ground. Here. Fine. Aiden frowned, I'm sorry. Hang on. He pet John's cheek as he put the phone to his ear. Hello. Mr. Edwards Van Schermerhorne. A sterile voice spoke through the receiver. John gave Aiden privacy, throwing on shorts and walking outside for fresh air. This is he. Aiden covered himself with his towel. Hi, Mr. Edwards Van Schermerhorne. My name is Jackie, and I'm a nurse practitioner at the Sahanickville Hospital. You were listed as Jasper's emergency contact. Yes. Yes, I'm his husband. Is he okay? He's currently in surgery right now, after stepping on a sea urchin. A what? What happened? Why does he need surgery? Is he going to be okay? Aiden flew off the couch, snatching damp clothes from the bathroom floor and shoving his legs in his shorts while still balancing the phone on his shoulder. The boat captain said he was snorkeling and came into contact with a sea urchin. The sea urchin's spines entered the ankle joint, and to remove them, Dr. Jackson decided the best course of action was immediate surgery. Is he going to be okay? There is a good chance he will recover fine, however, because the nature of anesthesia and the unpredictability of life, I can't guarantee anything. He should be out of surgery in an hour, and then we will know more. Okay. I'll be there in a minute. He ended the call and struggled with his shoes, meeting John outside. Hey. His breath came in a rush. Hey, John exhaled the heady scent of tobacco. Is everything all right? No, actually. My friend is in the hospital. I have to go. I don't know where the hospital is. They said it's not here. Sahanakville? Likely where you flew in. It's a 45-minute boat ride. I can take you. John ashed his half-smoked cigarette. I don't know. Aiden frowned at John's offer. It will take hours to rent a boat and travel. I have my own boat. I can get you there in less than an hour. John grabbed Aiden's hand, squeezing it and watching him. Oh. Okay, fine. Thanks. Aiden muttered. Let me make a call, and then we can head to the docks. John kissed Aiden's forehead, shifting from client to father as he went inside. John's voice hummed into the phone, ending the brief conversation with a term of gratitude and getting dressed. Aiden rode in silence, tucking his hands between his corded thighs and hunching over his lap. He focused on the achingly blue water, the ripples and the white sun-kissed waves. John abandoned conversation, sitting with one arm around Aiden's shoulders. He tried when they left the dock, asking probing questions about Aiden's mystery friend. Aiden's reply was silence and a shrug. John tried again with a different topic, suggesting a reschedule of their night. Aiden shook his head and muttered an apology. After the second attempt at conversation, John didn't try again. He stroked Aiden's shoulder until they hit the city, then he looked at Aiden. Do you want me to come to the hospital with you? John asked, voice like warm milk before bed. Please. I'm sorry. I know I'm asking a lot. I don't want to sit there by myself waiting for news. It's understandable. I don't mind, and I want your friend to be okay. John pet Aiden's hair, thumb rubbing the back of his neck. John's touch was similar to Jasper's, but without the tingling down Aiden's spine. Instead, John had experience of his years, and a smile wrinkling the corners of his eyes, spreading crow's feet across his temples. John walked inside with Aiden, following him to the nurse's station. Can I help you, sirs? The young nurse looked up from her book, studying the two men. Yeah. I'm Mr. Edwards Van Schermerhorne. Aiden paused, glancing at John before back at the nurse. I'm Jasper's husband. John blinked. What? He tilted his head at Aiden, lips pressing together. It's complicated, Aiden snapped. Is he still in surgery? He should be out in a moment. We will call you, you can sit over there. She pointed to the empty waiting room. Aiden avoided John's eyes as they found seats. You're married? John ventured. I said it's complicated. It was a job, okay? Some stupid rich people inheritance garbage. It was just a goddamn job. Aiden hissed, narrow eyes cutting to John. It's okay. I understand. John peered around the room. Aiden drummed his fingers on the armrest, shifted his position, pulled his phone out of his pocket. Sighing, he fiddled with his phone. He's going to be okay. John squeezed Aiden's thigh. Yeah, I hope. You said it was a job. What do you mean was? I don't know. Word choice. I see. Well, this is something. John patted Aiden's leg. I know. I'm sorry. Aiden repeated, pulling his legs into his body, balancing his heels on the edge of the chair. He rested his head on his knees, staring at the nurse's station and the double doors leading to the private area of the hospital. It's okay. I will go once he's out of surgery, all right? Yeah. He should be out in a moment. Thanks again. The waiting stretched on with John comforting Aiden fidgeting in his seat. He wiggled his hands, tapped his feet, drummed his fingers. The clock ticked backwards, hovering between the 1 and the 2. The solitary ticking roared in Aiden's brain, the rhythm teasing him. A nurse finally came from the back, talking in a low tone to the nurse manning the desk. Go check. John rose his eyebrows towards the nurse station. Okay. Aiden uncurled himself from the chair and wandered back over to the nurse's station. Do you have news? The original nurse fluttered her hazel eyes at Aiden, pressing her pink lips together. He just got out of surgery. In a moment you can go back. The nurse closed her book and rolled her chair to the desktop computer, fingers dancing over the keys. He is in room 314. Okay. Thanks. Aiden turned around, stepping into John's chest. Oh. He blinked. John smelled sweet like mint. He's in room 314. I guess he's okay, otherwise it would be more dramatic, right? Aiden twisted his fingers. He's fine. I'm going to go, all right? John kissed his forehead, pressing puckered lips into Aiden's tan skin. He stayed there, holding Aiden until he pulled away. It was nice meeting you? John chuckled, yes? It was nice meeting you. Tell Jasper his fake husband is a good person. Before Aiden could object, John left the hospital. Biting his full lips, he turned back to the nurse who had moved from her seat to the double doors, tired eyes regarding Aiden and waiting for him to join her. Let's go. She led Aiden down the hall to a small, windowless room. The bed propped Jasper up to a sitting position, with his head supported by a stack of pillows. Jasper's eyelids drooped, his chest rose and fell, sharp with pain breaths. Bandages confirmed the story he heard on the phone. Aiden approached Jasper's bedside, touching his matted dark curls. Jasper, Aiden whispered, having only seconds alone with the man before the doctor swooped into the room, pulling a mask from her face and launching into an explanation of Jasper's condition. She provided Aiden with detailed information on the locations of each spine, how they removed them, and the status of infection otherwise. She praised Jasper's immune system for being hardy and able to withstand the effects of the sea urchin's venom. She patted Jasper's leg, beamed at Aiden, and left them alone again. Jasper rolled his head on his pillows, a groan from his lips. Aiden smiled, pushing Jasper's hair back to kiss his high cheekbone before collapsing in the cushioned chair next to the bed, falling asleep to the lull and beeps of the machine. Aiden? Jasper moaned hours later, jerking Aiden from sleep. Jasper? How do you feel? Aiden hovered over his bedside, tucking the blankets around Jasper's body. Fine. A tense chuckle, a little pain but not much. Should we ask for more pain medicine? No. Jasper waved a hand, squeezing Aiden's arm. I don't need it. His hand reached up to cradle Aiden's face, fingers sliding over moist cheeks. Oh hey. Babe. Sorry. Aiden's features screwed up more, his eyes shutting tight and his lips curling, stretching across his face in a grimace. He fought his tears, beating them back behind an invisible wall. What is it? Nothing. When I got the call you were in the hospital, I freaked out. Aiden kissed Jasper's hand, nuzzling into his palm. I didn't mean to scare you. I know. I worried the last thing we would have said to each other would be our argument about how I didn't love you. Aiden laced his fingers with Jasper's, squeezing his hand and crawling into the small hospital bed with him. Ah. Jasper scooted over. I see, he murmured, kissing the corner of Aiden's lips. Jasper, Aiden traced his fingers down Jasper's hospital gown, resting a hand on his toned belly. He licked his lips, looking around the room, eyes focusing on the beeping monitors, the private bathroom nook, the small station in the corner, and the television mounted on the wall. He focused on Jasper, after memorizing the contents of the room. Jasper. I love you. Aiden blinked back tears again. I love you too. With a grunt, Jasper leaned up to kiss Aiden square on the lips. Jasper devoured Aiden's lips under his, brushing soft skin against soft skin. His fingers raked through Aiden's hair, keeping their lips connected, and sending wave of tension down Aiden's spine, gluing him to his spot. Aiden whimpered against Jasper's lips, parting his to allow Jasper's tongue entrance, permitting his gentle exploration. Jasper's tongue greeted Aiden's, dancing with Aiden's tongue in a casual choreographed step, before he pulled back with a sigh. Another kiss. Jasper's heart monitor accelerated, beeping sounding faster. Oh. Aiden laughed, blocking Jasper's body with his arms. I can tell. I want to stay married too. No more escorting. I'll do the sex counselor thing. We'll talk about it. Jasper took gulping breaths, working his heart down from racing to a resting pace again. Say it again. I love you. Jasper Edwards Van Schermerhorne. Aiden accented each word with a kiss, first to his lips, then to his jawline, finally to his neck, causing his heart monitor to blare angrily at them. I love you too. Aiden Edwards Van Schermerhorne. Jasper promised, hand falling from Aiden's hair to rest on his hip. Aiden wiggled down in the hospital bed, resting on his side, allowing Jasper most of the space. Jasper curled into him, burying his face in Aiden's chest, drowning in his spicy scent.